now watching I Shot Him 6 Times YouTube horror movie channel.
I shot him 6 times! What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? I hope everybody is having a great night. Welcome to I Shot Him 6 Times YouTube horror movie channel. As you know, I'm your host and creator, Marcus. This is going to be a fun night tonight, everyone. As you are all well aware, for hitting Tuesday's super chat goal mark, we are going to be doing a live watch party of Scream 1996. This was chosen and voted in by all of you. So again, this is definitely going to be a fun time. I'm super excited to get to it. I'm sorry about the delay. I had to make a last-minute quick stop at the store, which pushed it back to 9. And then I do have a guest that is coming on with me and stuff, and we were having difficulty with the link and all that stuff. So that's why I had to refresh everything to 9:20, because I think that's why the link wasn't working. But here now, ready to get down to it. Unfortunately, I did see my guests. I don't know if they're still having issues with the link, so we'll give a couple more minutes while I catch up with you guys in the comment section and see if they can make it back on. But again, guys, super excited to watch Scream 1996 with you all. I don't have to stress enough how much of a classic this film is. This is a lot of ours favorite film, or at least second favorite horror movie film in regards to the horror genre. I know a lot of people here on this channel, it's either Scream, Halloween, Friday the 13th, or Halloween, Scream, and then, you know, so on and so forth. So again, ready to get into it, you guys. This is a classic. I'm ready to see Stu Macher. I'm ready to see Billy Loomis. I'm ready to see Sydney, all where it began back in 1996 in Woodsboro. This is definitely going to be a blast. I cannot wait. And I know I am super behind in the chat, so I'm going to be doing my best to catch up with all of you guys and stuff like that here. Just bear with me, guys. Just bear with me. Oh, I didn't even send this message in the chat before I came on, but it's okay. Hopefully Paula gets it. But real quick, guys, it is streaming on Max if you have a subscription, Sling TV, Amazon Prime Video, Google Play Movies for $3.99, Fandango at home for $3.99. If you have a Hulu subscription, you can find it on there as well. If you have Roku, you can also, if you have a premium subscription, you can watch Scream 1996 as well on there. YouTube TV premium subscription, and Apple TV for $3.99. Okay, so my guest is here with me. So without further ado, everybody, my guest here tonight, she has been a loyal supporter since I started here on YouTube. She is a moderator. She is a great overall person, and she's going to be hanging out with us tonight and watching this classic of a film. So without further ado, everybody, please welcome Denisha to the chat. Get her up here. Oh, I don't know what's going on here. This is interesting. So for some reason, it's not letting me add her. That's the first time this has ever happened on YouTube for me, or on StreamYard. Denisha, do me a favor if you hear this, because it's not showing you as a guest backstage anymore, but it still shows your icon. Back out and then come back in, and let's see if it'll work that way. That is the first time that has ever happened to me with any one of my guests here on StreamYard, so that's a little wonky. But I am going to be going back all the way up to when the chat started picking up. This is about over an hour ago. I'm just going to try to breeze through all of them, say hello to all of you guys, and welcome. Dom. What's up, Dom? If you're still here, man, thank you for making it tonight. This is going to be fun. Always good to see you, buddy. Talking Star Wars saying stab the like button. Absolutely. Thank you for that, Talking Star Wars. Nice. Awesome, Paula. Awesome. And thank you for the like as well. King Matthew III saying, first of all, hello, Matthew. Hope you're having a great night. Saying, I feel like this movie was Gale's best role in the entire film besides Scream 2. And the funny thing is, the OG trilogy is when Sydney bitch slapped Gale. Yeah, absolutely. She punched her in the first one and then basically bitch smacked her in the second one. But I agree with you. If I'm going to pick a favorite for Gail's role, I would say would be this one, and a tie between this one and the second one. I feel like though this one definitely laid the groundwork for the type of character that Gail is. So and she was great in this movie, you know, playing that opportunist of a reporter who was trying to break in and make it big and stuff like that. And, you know, basically she set the tone in so many ways for the entire franchise, because her publicizing Maureen Prescott's death is what basically, you know, blew up Sidney Prescott's life story. So, and Courtney Cox is just a great actress. So she definitely was a perfect fit for the role. Talking Star Wars saying, I have the movie up on S-Flix on pause since earlier, LOL, and I like. Thank you. I greatly appreciate it. King Matthew saying, I also had a theory that maybe Randy was working with Stu and Billy because they didn't kill him when they had the chance. Plus, he seemed to guess who the killers were in 1 or 2. Hey, I mean, that would be a crazy twist, you know, if Randy is actually one of the killers. Well, if he's revealed as a killer in Scream 7, who is actually still alive and that he was actually a part of it from the beginning, that would be nuts. Nobody would see that coming. I don't know if I would want that for Randy, though, man. I like the theory, though. No, it's not out of pocket. Paula's saying, nice, I have a bunch of theories. I do as well. And that's one thing I'm going to be doing throughout the night when we're watching the movie and stuff, especially when we get to the final act. I'm going to be sharing some of my theories in regards to what we could see in Scream 7, possibly in flashbacks and stuff like that. Denisha, hey, again, Denisha, if you're in the chat, I don't know, I got to catch back up and stuff like that, but try to come back into the studio and let me know if it works, because for some reason it would not let me add you to the studio. King Matthew III saying, I seen on one script for Scream 1 that apparently Dewey was meant to be the third killer with Billy and Stu. That would have been wild to see Dewey as Ghostface. Man, I remember seeing a video before I even started doing content. I think this was right around the time where I started watching Craven Something Scary and really start breaking into the community and stuff like that. So, you know, I was looking up other YouTubers' videos and stuff after that point and stuff, and I found this video that talked about Dewey possibly being a killer because of his shoes and making some great points in regards to Dewey possibly being a secret killer. And again, that's why they're red herrings, you know. But me personally, I mean, I like the theory. Again, Matthew, it's not a far-fetched theory at all. And plus, you said you've seen a script that actually Dewey was supposed to be the killer, so that would have definitely been interesting if they would have went through with it. But I think they made the right choice by keeping Dewey as a good guy because, you know, especially when you got Sydney and Gail, those are the two final girls dominating the franchise. We need that one final guy, and Dewey definitely filled that role, man. We needed that good guy to keep us centered. Paul is saying, for people who are watching on HBO Max, there are 2 previews before the movie starts. One is for Mortal Kombat. I already watched the previews, and I'm paused on HBO logo right now, 35 seconds. Okay, thank you for that, Paula. Thank you. I greatly appreciate that. I'm right there in agreement with you, Paula. I'm right there in agreement with you, and I'm going to explain why later when we get to that part. King Matthew III saying, I got my DVD set up. I recently got the triple pack DVD that includes Scream 1 and Scream 1, 2, and 3, and I just my disc for one in my DVD player. I hope I read that right. I'm a little off kilter right now. But that's awesome, though. You got the triple pack. That's awesome. I want to get me the whole box set, like, of the entire franchise. Talking Star Wars saying, I think Roman's in Scream 1 at the grocery store. We see Ghostface reflection. I think Roman's in this movie. You could make a case for Roman being in this movie quite a few times. So I'm right there with you, Talking Star Wars. Nice, Paula. Yes, nice. Man, I remember this being on VHS. That's where I first watched it. The days. Horror Queen, what's going on? Nice to see you here tonight. I hope you're still here, by the way. I know drastically late. We're about to start the movie here in a few short minutes. Saying, I'm excited for the watch party. Scream was the movie that introduced me to horror when I was a kid. LOL. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's how it was for a lot of 90s, kids and stuff like that. I was just born right before the 90s hit. I was born in 89, but I was still, I want to say 7 years old when this first movie came out. And I remember, my mom getting it on VHS and watching it for the first time, and I fell in love with it. It was especially, what was different about it, obviously, was the killer calling on the phone. That's what really hooked me with Scream, and I've been a fan ever since. So, absolutely. I could see Roman being in Scream 1, especially being the Ghostface he was stalking Sidney and Tatum at the store, says King Matthew. Yeah, definitely. All right, guys, so I am going to breeze through up and catch up with all of you guys' chats and stuff like that. Scroll through all here and get more updated. King Matthew saying, I just put on my Ghostface robe and I got my Ghostface mask to watch the film. I wore it for Halloween last year, and it was funny because my friend went as Dewey. That's awesome. If you got any pictures, send me that on IG. That would be cool. I want to see how y'all cosplay skills are. What's up, DJ? I hope you're having a great night tonight. I did see that you said in the chat that you might not be able to watch. That would suck. Yeah, here it is right here. That sucks, DJ. I mean, I don't understand why. If you have other things to do, maybe you're working, but it's unfortunate. But if you can, whenever you have time, go back, pop the movie on, and rewatch the replay. Unless if you are at work, but you can still listen in and comment every once in a while, definitely hang out. Glad to see you here, regardless to the fact that if you can't actually watch the movie. Paul is saying yes, and I have the movie paused on the logo again. I have keep HBO Max from turning movie on for me for too long. I am watching Mortal Kombat preview with Ghostface. Oh, okay, so the Mortal Kombat game. Got you. All right, let me catch up all this. All right. Hey, what's going on, Patricia Taylor? I hope you're doing well. I hope Scott is doing well as well. Sorry, I'm just getting caught up to all you guys' chats. I had to breeze through all of them. I know you guys are ready to get to the film. Yeah, what's up, Val? I hope you're having a great night tonight. I see you here in the chat. Chris Sims, hey, man, it's been a little bit. Chris Sims saying, Marcus, what's up, bro? Missed you, man. What it do, bro? LOL. Sorry, LOL. Just haven't seen you in a while. No need to be sorry, man. Yeah, I was out for a good bit there, and over the last month, I've been picking it back up slowly but surely. So it is definitely good to see you, and like I say here most recently, it's definitely good to be back. Glad you guys have stuck it out with me, through the highs and through the lows. Awesome, King Matthew. What's up, Chocolate Ice? Hope you're having a great night. Good to see you. Scott, Patricia saying Scott told me to tell you it's been confirmed Stu's house and Sydney's house abandoned and boarded up. What do you think? Are you talking about in the movie? Excuse me, like in the movie for like Scream 7 or like what do you mean like in real life? Let me know about that. Hey, what's going on, Alex? Alex saying hi, first time in the chat. Well, welcome. Couldn't have picked a better time to show up outside of it being a Halloween movie, of course, because you guys know that's my number one. Always has and always will be. Even if it does seem I do a little bit more Scream content to Halloween, that's about to start changing a lot here soon. A troll, what's going on? And also, yes, I did see her in the chat earlier, and I wanted to say hi to her, so I do want to scroll back up a little bit. Find her comment. Oh, it jumped on me. I just had it too. I hate when it does that. I'm going to get there though. There we go. Liania Chanel. I hope I say that correctly. Again, you guys know I try my best. You know, sometimes it's not easy. But saying, hey y'all, it's almost time. Yes, absolutely. And we are about to start the movie here in about, I want to say 30 seconds now that I am all caught up. But again, Val, the general, glad to see you here tonight. And thank you for modding as you always do. And just gracing us with your presence, Val. You know, it's always great to see you. And that goes for all my modulators and everybody here that's in the chat tonight, just hanging out and wanting to watch Scream 1996. You guys are awesome. All right, guys. So I am about to start the movie. Let me get my headphones. If I can find them. All right, we're good to go. All right, so guys, let me know in the chat if you guys are ready. I'm pretty sure all of you are, but just to make sure, so I'm not leaving anybody out when we press play. Good Lord, I am having a hard time tonight. I don't know what the problem is, but yes, again, just let me know in the chat if you guys are ready to get on with the movie and stuff like that, because I know you guys have been waiting for basically over an hour. And the stream has been going on for already almost 20 minutes. Just wanted to catch up with you guys and let you guys know I acknowledge you in the chat, and I'm happy that you all are here. Cool, Shannon. Awesome. Love to hear it. Horror Queen, that's what's up. Okay, cool. Okay, Paula's saying not yet, technical issues. Okay, let me know then, Paula. I got you. I'll give you a few more minutes because you were kind enough to wait for me. Val saying ready. Awesome. Just going to give it a couple more minutes here so that Paula can take care of the technical issues and stuff, and then we'll be ready to go. Dom saying ready. All right, cool. Patricia saying, what do you think of the idea of different colored Ghostface robes like red, white, brown Ghostface robes? I wouldn't mind the white or the red, I guess. The white would be something unique. You know what I mean? It'd be a nice look. The red one, too, because, you know, the devil horn Ghostface mask. So, yeah, I can get down with that. I don't know about a brown one, though. I'm not going to lie. I don't know. The brown one just seems a little too for me. A little too meh. Not intimidating enough. Okay, cool. Cool, Paula. Awesome. All right, we're ready to start. So I'm going to do a 5-second countdown, and then we'll press play. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. Always love that intro credit with the screaming and it sounds like a gunshot. Love it. What number is it? I don't know. Do I? Oh, poor Drew. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Matthew. That sucks, man. But I'm so glad that you're making it here on the stream to hang out with us tonight, buddy. You know, take some medicine and try to get better, and just take it easy on the popcorn and stuff like that. That sucks that you're not at 100% for this, and just in general. I hate having the fucking flu and colds and shit like that. And the older you get, you are more susceptible to it. Oh, okay. Gotcha, Denisha. I see you back there. Cool. All right, everybody. Welcome, Denisha, to the panel. What's going on, Denisha? How you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm here.
Well, I'm glad you can make it on.
I'm sorry for the mess.
Hold on real quick, Denise. I'm having some audio issues with hearing you. Give me 1 second.
Okay. Take this to my room.
All right, we are good to go. Now I can hear you a lot better.
Okay.
But thank you for joining me tonight, Denisha. This is going to be fun.
All right. I do. Thank you for inviting me, Marcus. It's been too long today.
Yeah, it's been a long time since we've been able to hang out and do this.
So we're gonna
Yeah, no doubt.
Yes. So we're watching what Screen, right? This is what.
Yep, 1996. Yep, the first one. Do you need a timestamp, Denisha?
Okay, the first one. Okay. I'm probably going to need one.
Okay. Just let me know when you're ready for it. I got you right now. Just let me know when you're ready for it.
What are you watching it on?
I'm watching it on I'm watching it on S-Flix.
What platform are you watching?
I'm on S-Flix. Yes. That's basically like an off-site. It's not like a regular streaming site. It's the cheaters' way.
Okay. Okay. I see.
God, love that dialogue. You hang up with me again, I'll cut you like a fish. You understand? It's intense, man.
Okay, I'm hoping somewhere it got on Peacock, somewhere on Peacock. I probably doesn't, but
that's interesting, Patricia. Val saying, there she is. Hey there, Denisha, girl. Yeah, absolutely. Finally, glad that the link is working. It wasn't working a few moments ago before I came on the stream. Yes, absolutely.
I didn't know what was going on. I got the iPhone. I just got the iPhone. A new phone.
Yeah, I think I just had to Yeah, I think I had to reset the time and refresh the link. That's just what it was. That's why I was having issues.
Oh, okay. I was wondering why I couldn't have access to it. I was like, what's going on here? At first I thought it was me for a minute. I was like, is it my phone?
Nah, it's StreamYard being a little wonky.
Check. Okay.
Get the shit out of you. Getting scared. Shaking in my boots. Love it. Oh my God. Steve, what it? I will say in certain instances with the voice modulator, you can tell that it's Billy talking to her.
You can? You think so?
Yes, in certain moments. And I remember at a panel, I can't remember exactly what panel it was. They even talked about how they were having issues with the original voice modulator in the first film.
Okay. You can kind of tell everything then.
Oh, thank you for that, Paula. You're sweet. And yeah, Shannon on S-Flix. Yeah, that's my go-to. It's got every music catalog every movie catalog on there, basically. Do you need a timestamp, Paula? I got you if you need one. And Denisha as well. I'm at 6 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out. 'Cause I wonder if it's got it on YouTube for free.
No, I think on YouTube, I still have the streaming stuff up. Hold on. YouTube, you have to have a premium subscription. If you have a premium subscription, then you're good.
Okay, I see. Okay. 'Cause I know Peacock. They'll try to hold the movies down. So. Okay, let me try to
I would say, Denise, your audio's cutting in and out a little bit.
It is okay. Yeah, I'm gonna spend the iPad.
Okay.
I don't want to. I don't want what's going on the iPad. Never there. Let's see.
No, Jason's mother, Mrs. Voorhees, was the original killer. Jason didn't come to sequel. Love it. What's up, Don boy? Come on. I'm afraid he's out. There you go, buddy. Man, the way they gutted Steve too, it's like how slow you see the insides rolling out. That is brutal. And it was subtly brutal. Like it wasn't like over the top. Very well done with the prosthetics.
Okay, I think she was gonna have it too. She didn't love her scream. It is so hard to have to scream. I'm like, why is it so hard for everybody to pick up? Because on Hulu, you have to have HBO Max.
Excuse me. Yeah, I'm surprised they don't have it somewhere like without a subscription for free.
Exactly. I'm like, come on. Okay, let me go to Amazon. Last. I want to go to it. So I'm gonna have to go there.
That scene always still gets me when Ghostface runs past in the hallway. That still gives me the creeps.
Okay, they give me on some that they try to go to scream and then you gotta be subscribed to get back free trial.
Denisha, I'm having a hard time hearing you, homegirl. Your volumes, I mean, you're for some reason it keeps cutting in and out.
Yeah, Amazon, they want me to get free trial. So I'm like, understanding why.
Real quick, I don't know if I did just say I can't remember. I was trying to catch up with some of the chat. But Stella G, thank you for joining us tonight. If you need a timestamp, let me know. I got you. Talking Star Wars saying, I don't know if it's without being paid, but doesn't Paramount Plus have streaming? Yeah, if you got Paramount Plus, Denisha, you should be able to get it on there. Yeah, that's right, King Matthew. Saying the crazy thing is that Drew Barrymore was actually intended to play Sydney, but she decided to be the opening kill because Nev wasn't casted at the time, I don't believe. Yeah, I don't know about the whole last part there, but I know that Drew did decide to be the opening kill because she did even say herself, you know, who would have thought that her being the star that she was at the time, she was probably the biggest star in the movie. Who would have thought that she would have been the one killed first, you know? But great point. And I will always stand by my thought that this is Stu that is the one that is stabbing and killing Casey because of their previous relationship. When Casey takes off the mask, the way she looks at Ghostface, the person, you know, underneath the mask, and the fact that the hand was shaking before stabbing her. I personally don't think Billy's hand would shake before stabbing her if it was him doing the killing. I think Stu was the one to kill Casey. And even in that moment, he was kind of like, I don't want to say hesitant because he already had stabbed her at that point. But the fact that she took the mask off and she's seen his face, I do think he kind of had like a moment of reflection, if you want to say that. Yes, that's right, Stella G. Saying it's also on HBO Max. That's where I'm watching it now. Yup. That's interesting because King Matthew's saying that only Scream 5 and 6 are on Paramount Plus. That's interesting because on Peacock earlier, I seen they only had Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends, but they did not have Halloween 2018, which is odd to me. I don't understand why some of them do that. Get in the car. Drive down to the Mackenzies. And that's another thing. The woman who played Casey's mother, she did a fantastic job with that scream. Like, to me, her and Gail have the best screams throughout the entire franchise. Here she is. Sydney Prescott. Or Sydney motherfucking Prescott. Patricia asking, why do you guys think returning to Stu's house for a third time and Sydney's house again after all these years? What is the point of it all, do you think? It's legacy. It's legacy. That's where it all began, especially between Stu and Sydney. You think about it, when Sydney was attacked in her house, who was the one attacking her? Most of us agree that it was Stu attacking her. You know, so, and then of course, having the final act in the party at Stu's house in the original film, it holds so much legacy, which is why I believe Pine Grove, Indiana will not reveal Stu is alive. We will get that revealed at 8 back in Woodsboro. But that's just me. Yes, I agree with you, Stella G. No doubt. Stella saying, I agree that Stu killed Casey, but I think it was Billy on the phone. Yes. And I even just said that a few moments ago, that if you really listen to the cadence in the voice modulator, you can tell it was Billy on the phone. You can tell it was Skeet. And Skeet even said at a panel that you can tell that in certain times throughout this movie where you do hear his actual voice coming through the voice modulator, because they were having technical issues with that. What's up, Beck Sanders? Thank you for joining us tonight. If you need a timestamp and want to watch the movie with us, let me know. I got you. To an NC-17. Now, things have changed. And that part right there where she talks about a little raw footage, that's the inspiration behind my Scream podcast that I'm creating. That's going to be the name of it. It's going to be called Raw Footage, because of that line from Sydney when she's talking to Billy in her bedroom. I was watching this a few months ago, you know, trying to think of, you know, what would be a cool Scream podcast name. And I was just watching this and just listening to the dialogue, and that came up, and I'm just like, Raw Footage. Not bad. I like it. King Matthew saying, what if it was Stu that killed Marine? Because Gail said Sydney's seen someone that looks like Cotton, and Stu and Cotton have the same hairstyle, so maybe Stu killed Marine. Well, I think he definitely helped Billy do it, but I think Billy and Cotton have more of the same type of hairstyle than Cotton and Stu do. Like, when you look at Cotton's hair later on in the movie, when he's getting put in the back of the police car, he has the same type of hairstyle as Billy, not as Stu. Which is why towards the end of the movie, when they're in Stu's parents' in Stu's parents' bedroom after he took her virginity, she has that split-second moment where she looks at Billy and says, "Oh my God," because in that moment, I believe, is when she realized that Billy looked like cotton. But I do believe Stu had a hand in obviously killing Maureen Prescott. I mean, he takes credit for it with Billy. Dominic saying, Marcus, I believe the studio is watching you and are like, damn, he's figuring this shit out. I mean, maybe, man. I don't know. We'll see. I hope so. That'd be nice. It'd be nice if I get some things right this time around. I totally didn't get it right for Scream 6, so I need to redeem myself. Love that score, man. That OG Scream theme. Oh, and that you know what I mean? That just damn. With that drop bass in the background, like, yo, that shit is tough, yo. And think about it. Here in some of the dialogue, when Sydney's walking up to the school, some of the reporters are talking about the murders being like a part of an occult. Interesting, right? They were already planting the seeds for a cult in the first one that we could possibly get now. Patricia Taylor saying Scott and I think the different colored Ghostface robes idea from a Scooby-Doo episode where they go to Screen Factory, they encounter a chocolate strawberry vanilla phantoms. That's funny. Give me 1 second. I'm at 18 minutes and 45 seconds. So basically, if you want to set it at 19 minutes, go for it. Biscandis. Oh, wow. I'm sorry. I didn't even realize that Denisha dropped. Sorry about that, Denisha.
I was wondering if you can hear me.
Yeah, now you're good now. Yeah, your audio's way better now. There you go, girl.
Okay. I'm gonna hang out here with you guys.
Cool. Heck yeah.
All right.
Oh,
I'm here, so I'm here.
Sheriff Burke, the man who may have covered up Stu's fake death.
He might have. You never know. He might have.
Money and pressure will make you succumb to a lot of things you may not initially think that you would. And we know Stu's parents got money, so.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking too. Boy, when you hear Stu's return, oh my goodness. I was like, what's going on here?
Patricia saying, why do you think they have paid actors at the movie cinema for a horror film like Scream? Had a paid actor for it to play Ghostface. They had a paid actor out of dress up as Michael. Excuse me. Well, they have the actual actors, underneath the costume sometimes, but mostly it's stunt people. So you need that because, especially if they're doing a chase scene and the killer gets knocked over or takes, some bumps or takes some shots, you want somebody who's trained to take that type of punishment, you know what I mean, underneath the costume. You wouldn't want the actual actor because they're not trained to be taking those type of stunts like that. I do think he is going to be somewhat scarred. I do think that if he does return alive. I agree with that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We're going to know how his condition is going to be if he returns from TV.
I think it would be cool for them to actually show detail with that. You can't, even if he's got money and he can afford surgery, You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
exactly.
want,
If they
I want
brought
some
down that
stars on them.
figure. Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Some
it would
people
just add to the mystique.
mm-hmm. Because some people can have a that plastic surgery and they look totally different to what they look like. So it's like they're unrecognizable. So yeah, that's
Right.
pretty interesting to see a before and after picture if they did that.
hmm Paul is saying, I think Billy killed Marine and Stu was the one with the jacket walking out of the door. I mean, yeah, you're entitled to that opinion. I just personally don't think so. I don't. I think it makes more sense that they both killed her, and or maybe Stu was put up to killing Marine by himself by Billy, and that
What
Billy.
about Roman? Do you
Hold on
think
real quick. I would say I'll get to that. But in regards to the night that Marine was killed in the house or wherever she was killed at, I think maybe Stu was put up to killing her, and Billy took Cotton's coat, which had the blood on it, and was going to plant it in Cotton's car so it can frame him because he's the one who looks more like Cotton because of the hairstyle with the slick back
mm-hmm.
the greaser type of hairstyle. So, but that's just me, you know.
Yeah, yeah, because Roman and Cotton, I think they might have knew each other from the hand. I'm not sure if they knew each other from the hand, but it just seemed like it.
Wait, say that again,
Do you
Denisha.
do you think Cotton and Roman knew each other? Because in some way, I
Well,
feel like the filmmaking or something that because he was in filmmaking and she was in show business.
well, I don't think he knew Roman initially in the first film. I think he didn't meet Roman until the third film because he was going to be in Stab 3.
Yes, Stab 3. Yeah. Stab 3 was significant to it.
And even though it's subtle, I love the moment where Sydney's watching TV and they're talking about the murders, and then it clicks to Gail Weathers talking about her mother because then it basically establishes that Sydney is the final girl that we are following, and that there is a backstory that is going to be leading in and possibly connected to what is going on now in the present. Ooh, I mean, that's a good question, King Matthew. Saying, do you think Tatum should have survived to go to Windsor with Sydney and Scream 2? I wouldn't have mind seeing that happen, but at the same time, I do feel like somebody had to die, like that we liked in this movie. So it made sense for her to be the one because they were going to keep Dewey alive. They were going to keep Gail alive. Even though Gail is kind of like not liked, she is also still semi liked in this movie. Um, and plus, of course, Billy and Stu are the killers. Could they have killed Randy off in this movie? Sure, but when he basically gave the rules, I feel like he had more of an importance to be in part 2 than Tatum did. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Stella's saying those deaths don't have a single mark on them as if they've never been used. Right? Yeah, them deaths do look pretty. They did look pretty clean. I'm actually kind of planning on something like that, Patricia. I'm working on something like that. I definitely do want to do that for the premiere of Scream 7. So it's like
2026. Oh my god, 26. Oh my god.
going to be a big year for Scream next year. I personally think we're going to get 2 movies in the same year. So I hope so.
Yeah. I've been wondering what's going on. So why took it forever for production to hit?
Because I'm not Randy. Love it. I'm just that voice modulator and having a killer call on the phone and the dialogue. It just took this whole slasher genre to a whole new level, in my opinion, because it was nothing we hadn't seen before. Yeah, you had When a Stranger Calls, but that ain't nothing compared to this. Like,
Have you seen that one with Stranger Calls?
I did see the
The
newer
Stranger
one. I
Calls.
like the newer one. I like both. I like the older ones too. I just feel like they could have done a little bit more with them, especially the newer one. I didn't like the
Yeah.
fact that it was PG-13. I felt like they could have had more violence and showed the violence in that movie. But in terms of like
Yeah.
intensity and stuff like that, it wasn't bad.
Yeah. That is true.
I
Because
agree,
I
Paul.
did it towards the end when you like hear the person coming in and you don't really see the mass murderer until
Yeah.
the end.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, is that the father of the person that was
Yeah.
the parent? I'm like, I was
They
so
do a good job.
confusing.
They do a good job with even making their red herring seem a little like suspicious and really making you wonder if they're the killer.
I was like, oh my goodness,
Let's try Raid.
is this the dad?
You hang up on me, you'll die just like your mother. Jesus,
How
that's
do you know
brutal.
this? How do you know this?
That's brutal. Like, do you want to die, Sydney? Your mother sure didn't. Like, that's low right there.
Exactly. Especially you. I'm like, this person got to be close to me to know this.
But it also tells you right there in that moment that Sydney got it wrong, because they are so many ways admitting, the person on the phone, they're admitting that they're the ones who killed her by saying, do you want to die, Sydney? Your mother sure didn't. That excludes Cotton right there in that line alone. What's up, Oliver? Glad you can make it tonight, man. If you want to watch the movie with us, let me know. I got the timestamp for you, buddy. Yes, that's one of the spots I want to go to and do a live stream. I want to do a live stream from Sydney's house, on location where it was shot in the original film.
That'd be pretty neat.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to see that. King Matthew the third saying in the OG script, the Scream 1 is heavily implied that Marine was raped to death. I really hope Roman didn't do it, and I'm glad they didn't go that route. Yeah, even if they show a flashback there, I don't think they're going to go that far in showing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they could probably just show how it happened, but
Paul is saying Stu was the only one tall enough to pass for Cotton. Yeah, I mean, but you know how this works. You got to suspend disbelief. And I don't know how tall Liev Schreiber actually is. So hold on, let me look that up real quick. Billy drops the cell phone, implicating himself. Okay, so Liev is 6'3". So they do match around the same height. He does basically match the same height as Matthew, but you got to think, if Sydney's looking at whoever's wearing Cotton's coat from a distance, height isn't going to matter. So it's all about the hairstyle to me. The hairstyle is evident that it was Billy to be the one to plant the coat in Cotton's car, because they had the same hairstyle, which from a side view, when somebody has the same hairstyle as somebody else and may kind of have facial features of one another, that would more play into it if you ask me. Like, I don't think Stu was the one that Sydney saw. I really don't. I think that was Billy, which is why in the end, towards the end, when they're sitting on the bed,
Mm-hmm.
And Billy leans in and says, "What do I have to do to prove to you I'm not a killer?" Sydney looks at him and says, "Oh my God." Because in that moment, she realized that Billy favored Cotton Weary. But that's just me. Hey, it would
But
be crazy.
she
It would
saw
be
Stu
crazy.
in that ghost costume. That
Mhm.
was Stu.
It would be crazy if in Scream 7 they did do like a flashback to the aftermath of Marine's murder, and it was Stu who looked
Mm-hmm.
like Cotton, not Billy. It would be crazy. It'd
Yeah,
be something I didn't expect, but
exactly. It would be
I just don't
shocking.
think it makes sense though, because
Yeah,
the hairstyles don't match up.
yeah. It's gonna be kind of interesting how they go about this. So I can't
Right.
wait for
Look,
that.
Kenny, I know you're about 50 pounds overweight, but when I say hurry, please interpret that as move your fat tubble lard ass now. You know, fucking brutal. Love her. It's like she's so cutthroat, but she's so to the point.
I know that's what I love about Gail. That girl is so straight to the point about what she was doing.
Love it.
But I think that she's gonna be gone in this one.
Man, I thought so too, Denisha, but now with the announcement of 8, I think they're going to hold that off to Scream 8 because I personally would, because I would rather see Gail die in Woodsboro because she hated Woodsboro. You know, so I think that would be an anticlimactic finish for the character. The place that she hated the most in terms of living, you know, didn't want to live in Woodsboro. That's the place where she dies.
Oh yeah, because in Scream 6, she was there in New York. Mm-hmm.
That is true, Paula. Saying
Yeah, exactly.
Stu and Billy.
She wasn't even in Woodsboro
Mm-hmm.
when doing everything went. Yeah, but she had to go to Woodsboro because of see Dewey, because Dewey was. He did go back there
Mm-hmm.
and was living. So that's the only reason why she went there.
Mm-hmm. Remember what she said in Scream 3? Dewey, I couldn't stay there. 1 year in Woodsboro is like 7 anywhere else. It was like dog years to her.
Mm-hmm.
And this moment right here, when they're in the police station and, you know, Billy says, you know, I didn't do it. And then he turns back and he looks at Sydney and he gives her that 1,000-yard stare.
Mm-hmm.
I remember being a kid and my mom literally saying he's the killer. And I'm just like, how? He's in the police station and stuff. And she's like, it doesn't matter. He's going to end up being the killer. And I'll be damned. She was right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. But you didn't expect 2 of them neither. You didn't expect
No,
2.
you didn't.
Because they really got you in the first one. Because you didn't expect it would be 2 of them.
That's a fact.
Because they got you, because you think that Billy died at the end when it was
Right.
was Stu that was in the house the whole time. Because he knows the house. He knows his house and how to get around the house. And that was his house.
Mm-hmm.
His mom's house.
Paul is saying Randy knew it was Stu and Billy. He called Stu out first. Yeah. I would say he called he called Stu out, yes, by the fountain, and then he started implicating Billy in the video store. So yeah, he did. What did Mama tell you? When I wear this badge, you treat me like a man of the law. Let's go. Oh, fucking David. Scott and I might be coming to America next year with my auntie, and Scott wants to stay at the Stew House for the first time in America. What's the best place to see in the States? Texas is a nice state to visit. Ohio, Cincinnati's not too bad. I would say if you're planning on trying to stay in the Stu Macher house, I don't know exactly if you can stay like Airbnb it, but I know they have tours there. So you can definitely, you know, check it out when touring season is in place. Nice. A troll saying, I watched Scary Movie yesterday. I know I'm a little bit behind, guys, so bear with me. Let me scroll up to some more of you guys' chats. Yes, I'll send you a copy. Shit, fuck out of her.
Yeah, look, like I need you to write a book about my life.
Loved it. I'll send you a copy. Bam, bitch went down. Damn, Sid, super
Like she
bit.
just knew everything. I'm like, Gail just writing a book. Like she just know every detail about what happened to Sydney's mom. I'm
Yeah,
like, come on, like you were sitting there the whole time. I'm like, how can you write a book? Then
yeah.
I
Sydney had that right hook. Sydney had that right hook loaded up for over a year. Love Tatum's
Do you think
dialogue.
that Gal's suspicious now since he's writing a book about Sydney's mom, but I heard not being there? I'm like, why are you writing a book about somebody that you don't know? But like the hot murder?
Well, much to Gail's credit, I mean, obviously she did it for opportunity, and this is Stu calling Sydney while she's at Dewey's, but she did it for opportunity. But when you think about it, if it wasn't for Gail, Cotton would have served the rest of his life in prison for something he didn't do. So,
yeah, exactly.
Excuse me. So, in so many ways, we can rag on Gail for how she went about exposing, Sydney's life and her mother's story. But in the same sense, she was also doing it for a good cause by getting an innocent man off of death row.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Leonia is saying, Scary Movie is a great franchise, a troll. Yes, it is. I mean, I like the first two. I didn't like the other ones after it, 3, 4, and 5, which is why I'm super stoked that the Wayans are back. I cannot wait for part 6. They are back. I'm definitely going to buy a ticket, and I'm going to see that opening night. Did Stu get to Sydney's house when she got home from school? Hold on real quick. This is the part I'm talking about. You see when Cotton is getting put into the car, look at his hairstyle compared to Billy's. It's the same. So the height and all that stuff, especially when you're looking from a distance, doesn't matter. And apparently Sydney obviously had to have seen whoever was wearing Cotton's coat from a distance, because if she had a closer look, she would have been able to tell if it was Stu or Billy. But Patricia's saying, did Stu get to Sydney's house when she got home from school or when she was asleep? That's a good question. I mean, he probably did get in sometime when she was asleep, maybe. Or he could have got in while she was awake. Remember, she was on the the back patio of the house, so he could have gotten in then. Very possible. And we lost Denisha, unfortunately. So hopefully, Denisha, comes back in here if she can. Stella G saying, I think the only reason they mentioned her mother was raped is because Cotton's DNA would have been present. We learned since then she and Cotton were having an affair. Great point, Stella. Absolutely great point. Saying if the other DNA was present, they would have been looking for other killers. That's true, unless Billy and Stu use condoms. That's very possible, They're going to gas him. The book is not going to change that. And this is in this moment when she's having this conversation with Gail, is when you see the first signs of cracking from Sydney in regards to thinking Cotton is still the killer of her mother. I love it because it slowly ties in what happened to Maureen with what's happening now in this timeline, in this version of events a year later. Everything is connected. They're just connecting it slowly but surely. See? No, you saw someone leave wearing that coat. The same someone who planted it in Cotton's car, framing him. In my opinion, that's Billy. because of the hairstyle. They look similar from a distance because of the slick back greaser type of hairstyle. And plus it was almost shoulder length. If that was Stu, you see Stu's hair. His is more like flat, like boxed. I don't think if that was Stu planting, wearing Cotton's coat and ending up planting it in his car, I don't think Sydney looks at Billy the way she does later on in the movie in Stu's parents' bedroom. King Matthew saying, I'm just curious on who was in the Ghostface outfit when the principal died, because I could be wrong, but Stu was with Sydney and Tatum and Billy was in jail. But Dewey was going up the stairs, wasn't he? Actually, that part when Hembry gets killed took place after Sydney and Tatum agreed to go to Stu's party, and Stu is like, you guys bring food, okay? And he's like, huh. And then he starts running back towards the school. So I think that was Stu who killed Hembry. We'll get to that part here soon. You'll see. Stupidity leak. And this is the scene where Billy is talking to Sydney in the hallway, and you can hear in the background, hey, Chrissy, wait up. And I remember that was a big theory going into Scream 6 in regards to, could have that been Christina Carpenter? Very possible. Because wasn't that the scene where he talks to Gail for the first time? Hold on, King Matthew. What do you mean? Because I don't think Hembry at all talks to Gail. Patricia saying Scott wants to go to Hawaii, California, New York, Washington State, and Oregon, and the Sand Islands where they filmed a Free Willy movies, and he wants to see the Free Willy house. That would be awesome. Excuse me. Free Willy is a classic. One of my favorite childhood movies. And agree, Stella G. All nice places. Yeah, definitely, for sure. Shannon saying, why does Tatum have two beds? Another sibling we don't know about? That's very possible. I mean, that's a great question to ask. That has also been a theory over the last, few years since Scream got rebooted and, is hot once again, is why did Tatum have two beds in her bedroom? Could she have a twin sister? Could she have another sister? Something like that. It's possible, Or could they have just put an extra bed in there for when Sydney comes over to stay the night, because her and Tatum are that close and, everything that's happened to her. So maybe getting out of her house and going over there was like a release point. Possibly. Either one of those scenarios is possible. Heartless, desensitized little shits that you are. Gotta love the Fonz. Love the Fonz and his intensity in that scene. King Matthew, Billy wasn't in jail when the principal dies. He's out. That is true, Stella G. Yes, Billy is out at that point. But I still believe that it was Stu, because he was closest to the school. And for some reason, he's running back towards the school. At least it looks that way after Sydney and Tatum walk away. Oh, the girls in the bathroom. Here we go. Man, that's rough though. Having to sit there and nobody knows that you're actually like in the bathroom or in the area, and you hear them talking about you and your mother like that. That's rough. and they have all these false assumptions about you and shit, just because your mother behaved a certain way, unfortunately. Yeah, King Matthew. Yeah, Billy was out. All right, no problem, Denisha. Just let me know when you can come back in. Oh, I see you backstage now. There you go. Hold on. There we go. There we go. What's up, Denisha?
I'm back. My iPad. I thought my iPad was charging, and it was. I'm like, what the world? And I went. Oh my god! And it wasn't on my iPad. I think I need a new iPad now.
Are you good? You're good, Denisha. You know I got you. Real quick, Paula saying they just kicked me. Paula saying they just kicked me offline. Well, Paula, if you need a timestamp when they let you back on, let me know. I'm sorry about that. Oh, this scene in the bathroom. Now, let me ask you guys this. Do you think that this was somebody pulling a prank? Do you think it was Billy underneath the costume? Or could it have been Roman himself? I mean, I think it sounds like Billy, but of course, they could have had Billy saying, Sydney. They could have had Billy saying it, but it could have been somebody else. I mean, I don't know. You can make a case that maybe Roman was in that scene as well in the bathroom. The way I would have been throwing hands if I were Sydney, yeah, right? But that's one thing about Sydney, though, Stella, is that as time progresses, especially in Scream 2, Sydney's hand game does get better. Like, she beat the shit out of Mickey. I got to give her credit for that, In this one, she more was basically using objects that were around her in terms of the TV, the umbrella, stuff of that nature. But in terms of she punched Gail, but in terms of her hand game really being on point, yeah, Scream 2, she duffed Mickey the fuck up. Elbowed him, punched him, everything. She pulled out the full striking arsenal, basically. In Scream 2, when Ghostface attacks Hallie, and Sydney, when Hallie gets killed and Ghostface chases after Sydney, if you look closely into the mask, it is a woman. It could be Mrs. Loomis. I'd have to go back and rewatch that, but I don't know if I could tell just by the eyes. I personally don't think it was Mrs. Loomis because, yeah, I don't think so because that would make sense because one, when Mickey gets to the theater, he's running out of breath and he says, "You're fast, Sid," which means he was the one chasing after her. And then plus, Mrs. Loomis is all the way at the theater after Dewey gets stabbed and she's outside on the phone talking to somebody, which was Mickey, saying curfew is in full effect. So she was already there. She didn't have enough time to be where Sydney was and then run to the theater. She was already at the theater.
Uh-oh. Little painting going on. I hope your internet
Paul is saying he should have suspended them or expelled them, right? It's easy. Love that. All right, so this is a scene I'm talking about in regards to Hembry's scene is up next. And when you see Stu, after he's done conversating with Sydney and Tatum, he starts to go back towards the school. Whether he goes into school to kill Hembry, you can make your own interpretation of that. I believe he did. Yeah, he even kind of looks back. He looks back at them and then he runs off towards the school. So I think that is Stu who killed Hembry. But you're right, Paula. He should have done something. I mean, who knows? Maybe he did suspend him and we didn't see it happen. We didn't see him or hear him say they're suspended or whatever. Maybe he did. Patricia saying that doesn't make sense. How come Matthew didn't go underneath the Ghostface mask, but Skeet did? What are the chances Matthew's going to wear a Ghostface costume and mask in 7 to 8? Well, I think he did wear the costume throughout the movie. We know for a fact that when Ghostface is behind Randy, I think there was 2 scenes shot where it was Skeet and Matthew basically doing this. But I know for a fact that Matthew did don the costume at certain points in this movie.
At certain points in the movies, he did put the mask on. Because in Scream 2, if Billy was... I wonder if they're going to try to bring back Billy again. I hope they don't in Scream 7, but I'm like... Because he's supposed to be like a ghost.
Well, see, I think if anything they are, it's going to be AI technology or it's going to be via flashback. So
Yeah, for Billy, yeah.
I think all of the killers, every single one of them, are going to be featured in some shape, way, or form in this movie.
Yeah, because they got to bring Stu, like, if they got to bring Stu a big deal, I just hope that it's going to be, he's going to be directly in it.
Right. And that's another thing. See, before he stabs Hembry, he does this. You know, he waves his hand. So I think that is Stu. He did the same thing to Randy in Randy's scene when he's watching Halloween. I personally think that Stu, he killed Casey. Stu killed Casey. He killed Steven. Stu killed Kenny, I think.
Something's happening to your StreamYard.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I see you're blacked out over there.
Yeah, I just got my light off.
Oh, okay, there you go.
But right now, I just can't see you for some reason.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh? Hold on. How about now?
I see your on screen.
Is it blacked out or something?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird. Everybody in the chat, let me know if you guys are seeing the same thing. Am I blacked out? Because I see myself on screen. Like everything seems fine. That is very true. King Matthew.
Okay, now I see you. Okay, now I see you, Marcus.
All right, cool.
I don't know what happened.
Probably just a little lag or something like that.
Yeah.
And there goes Ghostface lurking in the trees, watching Sidney and Tatum. That right there too. You can make a case that maybe that was Roman and that was Roman underneath the costume.
It could be. It could be. You never know.
Right.
Because he was there at the beginning. Wasn't he there to tell Billy that when he told Sidney at the end of Scream 3?
Well, we know that he was in Woodsboro in 1995, or at least let's see, late 1994 to early 1995. So, yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, Scream 3's events take place, even though the film was released in 2000, the events take place in 99. And Roman says 4 years ago, I tracked her down. So that means 1995. So he was in Woodsboro the year before. Who's to say he wasn't in Woodsboro now?
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
that's what I was thinking too. I'm like because if he told Sidney that he got a film, I'm like, he got the dad and her mom cheating and that. I'm like, okay,
right.
He got all this down. I'm like, he told Billy to. Showed Billy the video for him to inspire him to kill Sydney's mom. Because
Yeah,
that's what he
because
said.
because he felt slighted by her for basically abandoning him and not
Yeah, exactly.
as her kid. So that was his whole motive behind that and stuff, and it's unfortunate. King Matthew saying Matthew Lillard also wears a Ghostface costume in Scream 5 as the flamethrower Ghostface. Yes, absolutely true.
And then she Scott Roman said that she wasn't his.
Yeah, what's going on, Denisha?
I said, didn't he tell Sydney that he wasn't the mother, that he wasn't his son?
Who
I
Robin?
think, yeah, that Roman wasn't hers. That it was somebody else.
No,
Before he tried to.
Roman basically said that Marine abandoned him and didn't claim him as her child. Only Sydney.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Didn't
he
claim
didn't
her.
claim.
Yeah.
Yeah, she didn't claim him, which is why he ended up doing what he did by watching and exposing her infidelities.
So I'm like,
All right,
then
cool.
if
Everybody
she's
say
not claiming, I'm not like, well, if she's not claiming him, then who was the mother that she's talking about then? And she wasn't trying to claim him.
yeah,
Especially if she was trying to.
yeah. Basically, yeah. Marine was trying to. Okay, so Roman knows Marine as Rena Reynolds because that was her stage name in Hollywood.
Yes,
So,
yes.
so that's why he said, I searched for an actress named Rena Reynolds, spent my whole life trying to track her, spent my whole life looking for her, and 4 years
Yeah.
tracked her down. Knocked out her door thinking she'd welcome me with open arms, but she had a new life and a new name, Marine Prescott.
Prescott,
You were the
yes.
only child that she claimed, Sydney. She shut me out in the cold forever, her only son. So he only knew Marine up until that point as Rena Reynolds. He didn't even know her by her real name of Marine Roberts.
Okay. Okay, now I've seen. Okay.
Right. Yeah, he only knew her as Rena Reynolds.
For a minute, because if you're not trying to claim him, you try to say that that's somebody else's child, and I'm like, what? Because she wasn't even trying to claim him at all.
Right. Stella saying that poor girl eavesdropping and hearing there's always some stupid reason to kill your girlfriend. Laugh out loud. Yeah, right?
Oh yeah, when they're talking by the outside or the inside of the school.
Huh?
I forgot where that thing was. I went what that comment was. The crazy reason kill your girlfriend.
Stella saying fun and random fact. My husband's uncle Bob wrote the story that the original prom night was based on. That's awesome. Wow.
Oh, Prom Night, one of my favorite movies too. I like Prom Night.
Yeah, prom night is really good. It's like Randy says, if you watch prom night, you'll save time. Patricia saying Denisha Scott says hello.
Yeah, for a long time.
Stella said he went on to write soap operas and he still does. Oh, that's interesting. Which ones does he do, Stella? That's interesting.
Because he knows Stu just knew how to cut somebody's body. I don't like the way that he described it at that fountain scene when it's talking about it.
Uh-huh.
Oh my goodness. I'm like, you know how to cut somebody.
Yeah, he knows how to gut people. He knows, exactly how to do it. He's trained himself on how to do it. King Matthew III saying, my question is, if Roman got turned away by Marine, why didn't Sydney know who Roman was in Scream 3? Because wouldn't Sydney be in the house as well? That's not entirely true. Maybe Roman showed up when Sydney wasn't home, and maybe when Neil wasn't home. Maybe Marine was the only one present at the house. You got to think, remember what Billy said, that when him and Sydney first started dating, they seemed to be on a nice solid R rating on their way to an NC-17, which implies that they may have been around each other a lot, like, and spending a lot of time with each other. So I think that Sydney was not in the house when that happened.
Yeah, she could have been in school. She could have been in
Paul
high
is saying,
school
"I
still.
love
High
Beyond the
school.
Gates." Is that the like ID like true crime show, Paula? Let me know.
Yeah, and
Everyone,
she would have been in school too, right? She was probably would have been in high school, going to school.
all
So she
right.
probably wasn't home.
Now we're getting towards the final act. Close to it.
Oh.
We're at the party.
Hmm.
I mean, I can see why some people would say Dewey is a little suspicious because even in that moment after rewatching it, when Gail says, "And what are you doing here?" and he's like, kind of hesitates and he says, "Keeping an eye on things," and stuff. I can see why people would label Dewey as a red herring because, I mean, granted, he's a cop, but it's not like he really needs to stick around and, you know, make sure
Yeah.
everything's good. But that's just Dewey. He wants to make sure his sister was safe and Sydney as well.
Yeah. And then I don't think that Dewey even knew that she was gone. I was like, he didn't even see that part. I don't understand why they didn't have him see Tatum when she died.
Here, it's that chick from Top Story, Gail Weathers. Yeah, she's here.
Yeah. I don't even know why Tatum Dewey didn't get a chance to see Tatum.
Look how Stu's looking at Gail. He's just looking at her like, we got something planned for your ass.
Yeah. That's kind of crazy that Dewey didn't get a chance to see Tatum death.
Yeah, it's a shame he didn't like really get to save her. Like he didn't know, like, that she was gonna be off like that.
Yeah, I'm like Sydney and Dewey should have been able to see it at the same time.
See, now
Um,
here, I
mhm,
know, in the garage scene, a lot of people think it's speculated whether it was
mhm.
Billy who killed Tatum or even who killed Tatum or even Stu, but I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I think you can make the case that maybe Roman killed her.
Yeah.
I personally believe that Billy, I mean, I don't think Billy killed anyone in this movie outside of stabbing Dewey. That's the only thing I think he really did, in regards to getting physical. I think Stu did everything else, and
Mhm.
possibly in this moment with Tatum, it's either Stu or Roman. Because I believe that Roman is in the house. I do.
Mhm.
And when we get to the part, I'm going to explain why.
Exactly, because he could have been the one that killed Tatum instead of Stu.
Yeah, because my thing is Stu is tending to the party. He would have to go
Mhm.
get changed real quick and do all this extra stuff,
And it's too quick. It's too fast,
Yeah,
right?
right. Yes.
And there gotta be places for him to hide, for him to have the mask on.
Be the helpless victim. Okay, let's see. Please don't kill me, Mr. Ghostface. I want to be in the sequel.
No, poor Tatum.
right?
She's about to go.
She did fuck him up with them beer bottles. She lasted as long as she could.
I know, right? Cause like,
Yeah,
is that
it does.
still? I was like, is that still right there? But is it still inside the house? I was like, oh no, who was it? Is it Billy? Could it be Billy before he went to the door? Before he
Yeah.
went to the party?
See,
Mm-hmm.
and that's my thing though. The person goes back inside the house.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I'm not saying that it couldn't have been Billy, but I just feel like he would have to go all the way to wherever, if there's another like back room inside the house, do all that, then try to find a way to get to the back of the house. Because in my opinion, the only back door that we see is the one that's in the living room. And
Yeah,
everybody's in the living room. So I just don't
exactly.
know.
How could he could have gotten in there so quickly like that and without being seen?
Right.
But I'm like he has the mask on. How can nobody see him get in their house? So
Right.
it's the front door is on the way in there.
And then we see Stu standing at the door himself. Now, granted, we don't know how much time has passed since, Tatum's death and Sydney looking for her, but still.
Mm-hmm.
That's right, though, Dom. This film does go by fast. It's got great pacing. I love how it does go fast. You think about it. It's dang near a 2-hour movie. It's an hour and 50 minutes, basically an hour and 51 minutes long, if you add the credits to it. But it goes by fast, but it does a great job with conveying the story within that time. Like the pacing is really well done, in my opinion. Patricia saying supermarket scene in Scream 1, how did Ghostface get into the fridge without being noticed by other shoppers? I don't think they were in the fridge. I think that was just a reflection of them like looking, at them through the glass. I don't think they were actually in the fridge.
I know, right? You see the
Now,
reflection.
if you're asking, like, how did nobody notice somebody in a Ghostface costume in a store? That is a good question. But at the same time, you got to remember that it was even said by the reporter outside of the school that many people are seen starting to wear this costume and mask as a prank, basically. So maybe if people did see somebody in a Ghostface costume, they didn't take it seriously because now everybody was starting to kind of like wear it.
Yeah, the guy was trying to scare Sydney inside the school. That's why they went inside the principal's office. That's why those two guys got in trouble just for running out in the hallway after they learned about the death.
Wow, this is a really good point made by King Matthew III. Now, not necessarily in regards to like, the beer bottles hitting, but I see where you're getting at. So he's asking, do you think it was Billy that killed Tatum? Because if so, his balls would have been bleeding due to the beer bottles Tatum threw at the Ghostface killer's balls. LOL. I mean, you got to think the gown, and the mask also. I mean, I think it landed on his chest as well, if I'm not mistaken, or it did hit him in the face. I think the gown has enough coverage, to protect certain areas and stuff like that. But also, if Billy is wearing like basically special padding underneath his shirt or whatever to fake his death and stuff like that for fake blood or whatever it is, who's to say Stu didn't wear extra coverage as well? You know what I mean? So, but you make a great point in regards to the beer bottles like hitting them and stuff like that, because if it did hit them in the face, which I think it did, I got to go back and rewatch that. But if it did hit him in the face, the mask could have protected them from, like, obviously getting cut open by the glass and all that stuff. But you would think, like, to a degree, maybe there'd be some bruising or something, maybe, you know what I mean? But the mask covering their face or whatever, the glass, wouldn't get through, in my opinion. But it's still a great point, that you made there, because, yeah, something like that, you would expect to see some type of marking on the killer or something like that. You know what I mean? And plus, if, again, from getting hit in the balls with the beer bottle and stuff like that, the gown was basically covering. So I don't think, you know what I mean, that really would have caused, his balls to bleed or whatever and stuff like that. But you make a great point, because think about it. Remember in Scream 6, we basically made a big issue about that ghost face that got hit with the camera. But then when we get the reveal of the killers, it's like none of them are marked up, nothing. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm sorry, if you get hit in the head with a fucking camera that size that Chad hit Ghostface with in the face, in my opinion, you're going to mark up, you're going to have a bruise, something, which is why I suspected Kirby as a secret Ghostface.
Exactly. Kirby did have a mark in her face.
She had that cut on her head, you know what I mean, and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Which would have lined up with getting hit by a camera, even if you have the mask on.
It would have been so weird if it was Kirby, but it would have been something new and fresh at the same time.
Right. I agree.
Yeah.
It would have been shocking. Nobody would have expected that. I love the version of Whisper to a Scream. What is that? I never heard of that, I don't think. Or is that the song you're talking about? Nice. I like this version way better. Yeah, I'm assuming you're talking about the song. Dominic saying that'd be nuts if Roman killed Tatum. I mean, think about it. Especially in regards to what King Matthew said, and we got Randy basically giving the rules here. But basically in regards to what King Matthew said, about, Ghostface getting hit with beer bottles, and yet you don't see no marking on Stu or Billy. That could have been Roman. And maybe there was marking, or maybe he did get cut open or whatever and he was bleeding. But because we don't know that's Roman and we don't see him in the film, that makes sense as to why Billy and Stu didn't have any markings on them from getting hit by the beer bottles. King Matthew saying, fun fact, they actually had to staple Rose McGowan to the doggy door because she could fit through it. That's crazy. Could or couldn't fit through it.
She couldn't fit through it. Yeah, I heard that as a fact too. That they had to staple her to the thing because she could actually fit through the door.
That's so
crazy. They had to.
That's crazy.
That's a fun fact. Like, girl, if you can fit through it, shoot.
It definitely could have been Paula. It definitely could have been Stu. I'm not ruling him out at all. It's easy access. It's his house. He can kill her, slide right back in. I just still also bring it into question because he was catering to the party. So again, it all depends on how long it took after Tatum's death for Stu to get out of costume and go back to tending the party, which is really what we don't see in between scenes,
Exactly. That's why I was thinking that it was Billy. And then he showed up. She showed up right after Tatum's death. Right after she died. So I was like, okay. And then he faked the blood. So I was like, okay.
Alex saying this Ghostface is way too clumsy to be Billy. I mean, my thing is
no.
Do we really know though? Like, like, how can I say this? Like, my thing is this: if I believe, and if the majority of us believe, that Stu did kill the majority of everybody or did kill everybody in this movie, then my thing is, how can you tell the difference between which one is being clumsy? Like, I guess, because in my opinion, the other kills, like with Casey, with Principal Hembry, with Sydney's attack scene, I don't feel like that Ghostface, who I believe to be Stu, was that clumsy. You know, so that's just my take on that. But hey, you could be right. You know, you could definitely be right by that.
Especially when he just showed when Billy just shows up at the party after Tatum's death. I'm like, okay. And
So
then they go upstairs, and then they, Stu comes upstairs with the ghost face mask on, pretending to kill Billy.
right. Stella saying also Billy is wearing blue jeans and Ghostface is wearing black pants in the garage. Yeah, but Stu is also wearing different type of pants at the party. Like, what is it? Like tan, beige type pants. So they could easily go slip into some black pants to match the costume. You know what I mean? And stuff like that.
Yeah, they could have also changed the clothes before they started. Because once Billy revealed himself as the killer, I'm like,
I will say this.
yeah,
And now Stella makes me want to go back and kind of break down some scenes in regards to killers attacking and killing.
yeah,
Because if there is scenes where you can maybe get a glimpse of the pants they are wearing, if there is any difference between what we've seen earlier and then compared to the killer we see in the garage, as well as the killer in the bathroom, you can make a case that the killer wearing black pants, if let's say Stu and Billy, it's noticeable that they're wearing blue jeans or whatever underneath the costume in previous attacks or kills, then you can make the assumption that the killer who is wearing the black pants is somebody completely different. Basically wrong. You know what I mean? And stuff. So, Stella, I'm going to go back after we're done with the stream here, and I'm going to do that because that piqued my interest.
Oh, yeah. That is a good idea. That is a bit interesting. Yeah.
Oh, okay, Shannon, I'm going to end up checking it out then when I am done with the stream. We are about 30 minutes away from the movie being over. We're basically heading towards the final act. Paula saying, I'm on the garage scene. So do you need a timestamp, Paula? Oh, this was 9 minutes ago. Okay. Man, I'm behind. Sorry, guys. You guys know how it goes. Okay, yep. So cool. I know Paula is caught up for the most part. The rules of horror movie, according to Randy. Yes, man, I miss Randy so much. I wish they would bring him back in Scream 7. I hope we get a surprise that he is in it.
And we all know somebody who wants you to come back. Who wants to come back to the streams?
Patricia asking, are there any similarities between Stu and Charlie? Oh, yes, you betcha. I mean, you think about it. I've always said this, and I will stand on business when I say this. When you think about loyalty in regards to staying loyal to your partner and sticking to the plan, Charlie, just like Stu, was that person for Jill, just like Stu was for Billy. And what happened? Not only did they both, kind of get screwed over. Well, Billy, I feel like Billy subtly was going to turn on Stu, but Jill completely turned on Charlie or whatnot. The point is that both of them were very loyal to a fault to their partner. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I think, and also, and I've always maintained this as well, is when you think about Scream 4 and Scream 1996, in my opinion, those are the two most popular movies in the franchise or whatever. Basically, Charlie is overlooked by Jill because people like a lot of Jill. They like her a lot more than Charlie. And even though a lot of fans love Stu and stuff like that, in the Scream universe, Stu is basically like in the Stab universe or whatever. Stu is basically forgotten. It's all about Billy Loomis. So Charlie and Stu, in regards to not only being loyal, they're often overlooked by their partners as well. So yes, there are similarities between Stu and Charlie.
I know you want to try to come back. Yeah, I know you want to try to come
Yeah,
back.
you know, damn right I do. But also, when you think about getting the girl, remember Stu was in love with Casey. You know, in my belief, which is why Randy called it out, and he ended up killing her. What happened with Charlie? He was in love with Kirby, but because she took too long to acknowledge him, he ended up trying to kill her. So you
But
see
it
what I'm
didn't
saying?
work.
There's definitely similarities between the two. Man, I've always said it. I would love for them to not just bring back one dead killer. I would like two, and I would like that to be Charlie and Stu, man. Like, because I just think that they would be a perfect match for each other. Like, I really
Exactly.
do.
If they're
I
gonna bring
really,
back
really do.
Stu, if they're gonna bring back Stu and Roman, and I'm like, okay, I think they can bring back Charlie in some way.
Right. I think it would be by AI. I think a lot of these
Yeah,
killers, if they do make an appearance, is going to be by AI. Look
they
behind
say,
you.
but like on Freddy, like Freddy's Nightmare, but
Mhm. Yeah, something like New Night. I see what you're saying, like kind of like a New Nightmare approach, something like that, where reality is more of a fixture in the movie as opposed to fiction. Um, Stella saying yes, both Charlie and Stu are afterthoughts. Billy and Jill both found patsies, for lack of a better word, to help with their dirty work. Yes, absolutely, Stella. Thank you. Yes,
because
definitely.
Scream six was kind of confused. I mean, Scream 5, because when she was when they Scream 6, when Sam and her boyfriend worked together, I'm like, okay, how did those guys this make it seem like they met each other
Uh huh.
and so that, and I'm like, okay. And I was trying to get that plot of Scream 6.
Oh, I get
I
you
mean, a
saying
Scream
you
for
wanted
Scream
you
5.
you wanted more backstory on Samantha's boyfriend Danny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I like Danny's character. I thought that he could have been a great character to keep around, or he could have been a great secret, a great secret ghost face that we didn't get revealed. That is definitely going to be a bummer for Scream 7, in my opinion, is not knowing more about Danny Brackett. I like Josh Segura. I think he's a good actor.
Yeah.
Um,
And Scream 5 was a good one too. But you never know how Sam and Richard, what his
Richie.
Richie. Yeah. So I'm like, well, how are they together? And I'm like, well, this is the first 2 minutes they introduced Sam and Richie. So I'm like, okay. I was like, I wonder how Richie found her, because they really don't. Do they explain it in 5 how Sam and Richie actually met?
Well, yes, they do, because basically what happened was Amber and Richie met on a Stab subreddit. Apparently, Christina Carpenter was a drunk who basically spread the truth about Billy being Samantha's father around town, which Amber shared this information with Richie to where he was able to track her down and locate her in Modesto.
Oh, at Modesto.
Yes, that's how he ended up, meeting her and, manipulating her into getting into a relationship and all that stuff. So because Amber knew who Samantha was, she provided Richie with the information for him to track her down.
Mm.
King
That's
Matthew
it.
saying, I seen a rumor that apparently Skeet Ulrich is returning for Scream 7, but he hasn't been announced. Maybe a flashback with Billy in 7 happens. Yeah, I can definitely see that. Or again, artificial intelligence. I can definitely see any of those scenarios playing out for sure. And I don't think they're going to announce a lot of these dead killers that could be returning. Jack Quaid in his interview for in his premiere for Novocaine a few months ago, he was asked about Scream 7 and he was like, so I really don't know about that, so I'm just going to end this on that note. Basically, he was not like willing to talk about it because he said he wasn't sure if he could talk about it, which tells me there's a possibility Jack Quaid as Richie will be making a return in Scream 7. They just haven't announced it.
There's a lot of stuff probably going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. I can't wait to see how it's gonna play out. I can't wait to see how it's gonna play out.
Right. Stella, you make a great point saying the same thing happened with Mrs. Loomis and Mickey in a way too. Yeah, because basically Mrs. Loomis used Mickey to do her dirty work for the majority of it. And she was only using him so that basically everything traces back to him while she gets away. Now, this scene right here where Dewey gets stabbed, I do think that this is Billy. I do think that this is Billy right here. This isn't Stu. This is Billy.
In Scream 5?
No, right here in this scene that we're watching.
When Billy
when Sydney's in a Jeep and stuff, in Dewey's Jeep. I think that this is Billy in this moment. I think Billy stabbed Dewey. I think he stabbed Dewey, and he's the one going after Sydney in this moment.
Oh, yeah, because they are going to come back.
You got to think moments
and Randy. Yeah.
Yeah. A few short moments after this, Randy and Stu show up. You know.
And when she closed the door, she closed the door on both of their butts.
Yes. Randy and Stu both show up.
Okay. Because that way, Billy already got stabbed. And Billy is already stabbed. Faking his death. Don't know what he's doing upstairs, trying to fake his death. Trying to come back.
Now, I do want to trace back real quick because when the part came up, we was talking about something else and I kind of missed it. Excuse me. So the scene where basically Stu stabs Billy and fakes his death and all that stuff. Sydney runs out that room. She locks Stu inside or whatever inside his parents' room. Now, apparently there is another door there and you can see like right behind, like right in that little hallway there is. But in my opinion, if you look of how long of a way it would take to get all the way around to that room where Ghostface is coming out of, basically from the side where the stairs are, I personally don't think Stu would have had enough time to meet Sydney in that amount of time right there. I think that is another killer. I think that could be Roman that ends up chasing her to where she hits him with the door and stuff. So see, like in this scene, you see Billy coming out of that same side room where the stairs is. He's coming out of that same side room. Now, why is that side room so utilized, in my opinion? You know what I mean? That, you know what I mean? Like that, to me, maybe that's their little spot for where they go change. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it could be. It could
like.
Get the costume on.
Yeah. And if you go back and look at that scene where what I talked about when Sydney locks Stu in his parents' room and she goes out the other, she goes through the other room and she's trying to get to the stairs and then you see a ghost face basically like cut her off. If you look closely, you can see a chair and a desk sitting in that back room, which means anybody could have been sitting back there waiting.
Yeah. I wonder is Billy already stabbed, right? Was she run out? Was she run out the room because Billy let me run out the room because Billy stabbed, right?
Yeah. What do you mean? Hold on, real quick, Denisha. We'll touch back on that because I do want to touch on this. Sarah Campbell coming in with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Sarah, for dropping in
Sarah.
and saying what's up. Just popping in to say hello, Marcus. Happy to see you're streaming again. Yes, thank you so much, Sarah. I greatly appreciate it. And I'm happy to see you pop up in the chat. It's been a while. I know I've seen you over at Craven's channel a few times over the last couple of weeks. So it is definitely good to see you come back and check your boy out over here.
Hey, Sarah.
But yeah, so what was you saying before, Denisha, about Billy being stabbed?
Was he already stabbed once she ran out the room? So that's what
Yes.
Okay, that's
But
when everybody's running.
yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Because they're chasing around. She goes to the other room. Then that when she's like still in there.
Yep.
Into the room. Okay.
See, like, listen to what Billy just said. Won't you tell that to Cotton Weary? You wouldn't believe how easy he was to frame. That tells me that was Billy to be the one to do the framing. What I mean? Not Stu. You hear that, Stu? I think she wants a motive. I don't really believe a motive, Sid. Did Norman Bates have a motive? Nope. Did they ever really decide why Hannibal Lecter liked to eat people? Don't think so. See, it's a lot scarier when there's no motive, Sid. It's the truth, though. It is a lot scarier when there is no motive. That's what makes Stu really so unique, because he really didn't have a motive. He just wanted to tag along with his buddy, and he was a psycho. But again, thank you so much, Sarah. I greatly appreciate the super chat. And I appreciate seeing your face. Again, it's awesome. And I'm glad that I am streaming as well. It's definitely been kicking up here over the last few weeks, over the last month. That's right. You gave it up. Now you're no longer a virgin. Whoops. No longer a virgin. Whoops. I love it. See, and this is what I'm saying. Like, we see Stu here, right? We see Stu, and he seems, out of his mind. He seems batshit crazy, right? But according to Mason Gooding, compared to what they are going to do with his character in Scream 7 and possibly beyond, this version of Stu is more grounded. So what does that tell you? That tells you that in this new movie, Stu's character is going to be even more batshit crazy. This is him grounded. Imagine what he looks like when the gloves are off, when the handcuffs are off. Whoo! Bodies are going to hit the fucking floor, and I cannot wait. Well, how the hell is that going to happen? I wonder. Talking Star Wars saying apparently Sarah Michelle Gellar wants back in Scream 7. She could be like a new character, maybe. But if she wants to return to CC Cooper, I just don't see no real reason for that. CC, I know a lot of people love Sarah Michelle Gellar and they like CC Cooper, the character. But when you really go back and watch Scream 2, she wasn't that much of an important character. She was a side character. She was another celebrity, another big name who was there to be killed off. So I don't know.
But I don't think that she knew Stu. I was just trying to understand why she was killed in the first place, because she knew Stu in the classroom, in the classroom together before she died in that frat house. So, and I guess she knew Sydney too.
She didn't know Stu. Cece never met Stu.
Oh.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Matthew showed up on the set of Scream 2, and he is in the film, but he's basically shot as a different background character. He's not. They didn't intend to shoot him as Stu Macher per se. Even though I think you can play into that and still say that was Stu. He just obviously dyed his hair blonde, and he was watching from afar to connect him to being in Scream 2 and basically stalking Sydney and being alive still.
Oh, okay.
Movies make psychos. What? Movies make psychos more creative. Man, you got to give credit for all the talk about Matthew. And, I love me some Matthew. You know what I mean? As Stu Macher. But Skeet absolutely was fucking dialed in as Billy Loomis. Like, he was fantastic. And he really put in the work to play this type of role, and you see it play out on screen. He deserves a lot of credit for that character coming out the way it did.
Okay. Yeah, because the CC
We have
Cooper
a problem here.
wasn't CC Cooper the first one? Was the first one, right? Did Drew Barrymore played? She was, and this was who died.
Wait, what was that, Denisha? Say that again.
Wasn't CC the first person that got killed on Scream One?
No.
Was that at the beginning, right?
No, the first one who got killed was Jada Pinkett and Omar Epps in the movie theater. In Scream 2. In Scream 2, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Scream 2, okay. And Drew Barrymore was CC Cooper, right? Was it CC?
He's Casey Becker. See,
Casey
Scream
Becker.
2,
Okay, yeah.
yes. In Scream 2, they kind of tried to play it as if basically the killers in part 2 were copycatting the murders from Woodsboro because Maureen Evans, which was Jada's character, / Maureen Prescott, Phil Stevens and Omar Epps' character / Stephen Orth. Casey Cooper / CC Cooper equals Casey Becker. You see,
okay, I see.
So that's, I can see where you can kind of get confused with that because that's kind of what they hinted upon in 2.
Yeah, because she was in Randy class. Okay, I see.
She was in film class with Randy.
Yeah, she was. Okay. So I was like, well, she's in the film class with Randy, then why would they kill her? So I was like, when she got thrown off the balcony, I'm like, why did they kill her for?
Right.
And I was like, no.
And I want to say this real quick too, like Sydney, grabbing the phone and the voice modulator, and then putting on the Ghostface costume, like, man, like it's so iconic because you will never see it again, in my opinion. You might not ever happen again. And it's kind of like an offhand way of kind of letting the good guy or the good girl also still wear the killer's costume, which I think is pretty badass. You know what I mean? So you fucking hit me with the phone, Dick. And I love that because if you guys recall, that line was not supposed to be in the movie. When they shot this scene, Matthew actually said that to Skeet, and they thought it was so fucking funny that they had to reshoot the scene and have him say that in the actual scene.
Because that's what he probably thought. Like, man, he just did it for that me. He just did it for that. I was wondering if Matthew if Skeet was told to do that too, to throw the phone at him, unless he just threw the phone at him on purpose.
No, actually, the phone slipped. It wasn't supposed to happen. The phone slipped out of Skeet's hand by accident, and it hit Matthew, and that's when Matthew said what he said. And they decided, because of the reaction, they decided to keep that scene and actually recreate it and reshoot it.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, because the blood was on his hands when he touched the phone.
Alex saying, I like Billy, but his motive always makes me laugh. I mean, I can understand to a degree, but man, you got to feel for the guy. You know what I mean? Like his girlfriend's mother was the reason why his family got ripped apart. You know what I mean? And he had to find this out through her brother that she doesn't even know about. So it's kind of rough.
Yeah, that is true.
And this is where Stu gets electrocuted by the TV and everybody thinks he's dead, but he's not. He just slightly gets executed. He's still alive. He's still breathing. He's even still breathing. Like,
they didn't check the pulse. They just assumed that he was dead.
Right. He is still breathing. If you look closely, even after the electrocution is like slowing down and stopping, you can still see his stomach moving. He's still breathing.
And she didn't check the pulse. They just assumed that she walked out at the house at the end, thinking that he's dead. When they didn't check the pulse at all.
Right.
So that could be a still return. That's how they said it still can return.
And I did a theory about this a couple months ago, talking about how Stu could have faked his death. When you really go back and rewatch this movie, some of those people that were at the party, in particular, one of the kids who was starting to get expelled by Hembry, the one who kind of looks like Stu, who wears the same type of like button-ups as him and stuff like that, or whatever, he doesn't leave the party. So in my opinion,
he didn't leave the party. Oh, okay.
No, he did not. You do not see him. You do not see him leave the party. So, in my opinion, if Roman is there and there is a third killer in the house, who's to say Roman didn't lure him? And I even talked about this in a video. I'm gonna reshare the video in a post after the stream is over, because I don't know if if all of you have saw it. That's here in the chat and stuff. And I want you guys to let me know what you think, because I think that there's a case to be made that guy who I'm talking about, that was supposed to be one of the kids that got expelled by Hembry, who did not leave the house when all of those guys left the house to go pull Hembry down from the goalpost. There's somebody that you see in the window when those guys are coming out to the car and Kenny's slowly shutting the van door so they don't see him. When you look at the window of the house, you see somebody walking towards the back of the house through the kitchen. So, in my opinion, you know what I mean? In my opinion, could that have been that guy getting lured back by somebody who was Ghostface, getting killed off, and maybe he's the body that was used to make it look like it was Stu, because there are similarities between him and Stu. And we get the iconic ending with Gail, saying her spew as a reporter at the end, and we get this beautiful overview of Stu's house in the background. And that is a wrap, folks. Man, it's always great watching this movie. And then, of course, the credits where you see Ghostface appear on screen that lets you know we're going to get another movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's
so
a masterpiece of a film.
Could be a good case for Stu return. That he didn't die because he was still breathing at the end when he dropped the thing.
Right.
They didn't check nobody pulse.
Right. And if Roman is there, if Roman is there,
too.
If Roman is there and that guy that I'm talking about was killed and his body could have been replaced, to look like it was Stu's, then there you go. That's how Roman basically.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
To
replace the body, if Roman actually helped them out, got the TV up off him. Oh, let me see. This guy here looks like it. He might be dead.
Right. Patricia Taylor saying, how can Stu get his old mask if it is in New York City? See, that's the thing. I don't personally think that the mask that Quinn claimed to be Stu's is his. I will stand on business. I will die on that hill, because in my opinion, Mrs. Loomis's mask was more deteriorated than that mask that Quinn was wearing. And Stu's mask is supposed to be older than Mrs. Loomis's mask. So in my opinion, his mask should have the same amount of wear and tear on it that Billy's had. If not, it should resemble that. And it didn't. All you seen was a little bit of dirt and a little crack, like right there. And it was really basically nothing. So I personally do not think that is Stu's mask that Quinn was wearing, but that's just me.
I wonder whose mask that could have been then. If they just.
Have you ever listened to have you ever listened or watched Scream ambiance videos? I never knew there was such a thing. I might have to check that out.
I wonder who mask that was then. Look, Quinn was wearing if it wasn't Stu.
Well, I will say this because this is a thing, and I posed this question after Scream 6:
Mm,
is where are all the other masks? You know what I mean?
mhm,
That we're missing. Whose mask we're missing? We're missing Mickey's mask. We're missing. So we had Billy's mask, Mrs. Loomis's mask. So we're missing Amber's mask and Mickey's mask because
mhm,
Richie's mask was there. His DNA was there, and it didn't say
mhm,
that. They didn't say that his DNA and Amber's DNA was on the same mask like they did with Jill and Charlie, which I
mhm,
think is preposterous.
mhm.
I don't believe.
Mm. So
Yeah,
where?
because
Uh,
they
that's how I was
basically
wondering too.
they
Mm,
basically implied that
mm,
Charlie and Jill wore the same costume and the same mask, which I think is bullshit. That
mhm,
makes no sense whatsoever, and stuff, especially if they were to have to be attacking people at the same time. Why would they have it would be too much it'd be too congested. You know what I mean? It
mhm,
wouldn't make any sense. So Mickey's mask is still out there and so is Amber's. But I also pose this question. So think about it like this. Okay. So there's a total of 9 Ghostface killers that, was supposed to be up until that point, I believe, in Scream 6. We had Billy and Stu, Mickey and Mrs. Loomis, that's 4, Roman 5, Charlie and Jill, that's 6 and 7, and then Richie and Amber would have been 8 and 9. And that's excluding the Baileys or whatever. So that's 9 killers right there, right?
I
But
think
if you're
so.
saying that Jill and Charlie wore the same costume and the same mask, well, then that basically only makes it, so to speak, 8 killers because they wore the same one, which means there's one extra gown and mask that is out there. Does
Mhm,
that mean there's another killer that we never found out about?
mhm. That's how I was
You know
wondering.
what I'm saying? Like, so Scream 6 definitely did a lot of things that were confusing to say the least. That you can definitely dissect and pick apart and be like, hey, yeah, that doesn't sound too convincing.
Yeah.
Yes, Paula saying, I love the final shot. Beautiful. Yes, absolutely. And that's another thing. The choreography, the cinematography in this movie, fantastic, especially with those overhead shots at the end of Stu's house. And, you see basically the background and kind of like the sun rising and all that stuff to the next day. Like, very, very well shot. I don't believe so neither, Alex. I'm right there in agreement with you. I think Charlie did all the work. I mean, think about it. Even Jill basically admitted so in so many ways. Charlie was the idea man. He was the one basically in so many ways doing all the work. Like, she just happened to have a motive for herself that she didn't clue him in on. So I'm right there in agreement with you. Yes, Coop, unfortunately you did, buddy. Sorry. He said, did I just get in as it ended? Yes, unfortunately. But I'm gonna hang out for about 5 more minutes, talk to you guys and let me know what you guys' favorite moments from Scream 1996 are. That's what I want to know from you guys. What are your favorite moments in this movie? And what do you think you see in this movie that could be retconned or refreshed upon in Scream 7?
Mhm.
Ooh. So Coop saying, are you going to do a watch party for the new Fear Street in an hour? I actually watched, I think, the most recent one. Is this a follow-up to the most recent Fear Street that just took place, I want to say a year or two ago, where has the brother and a sister? Because if so, then I will start covering that because I actually like that.
Mhm. Yeah, because I
But
know.
in terms of doing a live watch party on it in an hour, most likely not, because I want to like catch myself up with it before I start talking about it. So maybe I'll rewatch the first Fear Street if it's the same one I'm thinking it is in regards to who the characters are. I'll refresh myself with that. Maybe this is what we'll do. We'll plan to do a double live watch party of both. So I can watch the previous one and then the new one here with you guys.
Mm-hmm. Because we know that Quinn wasn't she? Didn't she like Stu Mocker? Did she say that she likes Stu? That's why she thought that he was wearing Stu mask.
Yeah,
Scream
Quinn
said.
said that Stu was her favorite. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was wondering. Because I was like, if that wasn't Stu's mask, who they thought it was, then her dad must have gotten the wrong mask then out the confinement.
No, I
Because
think it was more
mm,
so like, he didn't get the wrong mask, so to speak. I just think she's misinterpreted as to if that was Stu's mask or not.
mm,
Because my thing is,
okay.
unless he ran DNA test on it, which I don't see why he would feel the need to do it for that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you can leave it up to interpreting that it could have been
Yeah.
anyone's mask. It could have been Mickey's mask. It could have been Amber's mask, even though it wouldn't have been that old. So yeah,
Yeah.
I just feel like, in regards to explaining how she got that wrong, we will probably never know. But I personally think
Yeah.
that's not Stu's mask. I do think it's going to be interesting that if they do reveal Stu alive, will we see him wear a mask that is old and decayed?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay. That's an interesting thing. That's why I cannot wait for the Scream 7 to see if it's going to be like that. That's the
Right.
interesting thing. Interesting.
Coop Coop saying I think it's a whole new story. I'm not sure though. There's only been one trailer though. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, Coop, is I'm gonna check out the trailer. And even if it is a new story, what we'll do is again, I will cover the previous one here that just came out recently, because I think that's the one that I watched, before. We'll watch that one and then we'll watch the new one, maybe do like a double watch party, or we'll watch one night and then watch one the following night or something of that nature. Coop saying, to me, I feel like they've made it a little too obvious that they are revealing Stu is alive in Scream 7. I disagree with that, Coop, because I feel like they are kind of playing into it quite nicely, to the mystery as to whether is Stu alive or not, because we've gotten subtle little clues, in regards to dialogue from Matthew and the possibility of Stu being alive. But the dialogue is just enough to where it still makes you wonder, okay, are they going to bring him back alive, or are they going to do it in this way via flashback, via AI, stuff like that? Like, I remember when Sister Pam did her video a couple weeks ago talking about what Matthew had said in an interview about, he's happy that basically Stu is alive to to some degree, basically, to an extent, and stuff like that. And you could definitely take that as, him saying that Stu is going to be alive. But then I look at that other part where he says in some way to an extent. So that kind of also leaves the door open that, okay, he's quote unquote alive, but he's like alive in a way that he is not actually going to be alive. Just the presence of the character and the overall presentation of the character is going to have a big role in this movie, so much that it is going to feel like he's alive without actually revealing that he is. Me personally, I think if they are going to reveal that he is alive, they're going to save it for Scream 8, because I just do not feel that revealing him in Pine Grove, Indiana, there's no legacy behind it. It serves no legacy to his character. If you wait to Scream 8 and if you go back to Woodsboro and Scream 8 and reveal this, then that means everything to the Schumacher legacy and the character, because that's where it all began. So we'll see. I personally don't think they're making it too obvious. I think they're giving us a nice mix of keeping us in the mystery as to, is he alive? Is he dead? They're keeping us, on our toes with it.
So do you think we might see our first cliffhanger?
I do. I really do. And I have a couple ideas for that. One is going to actually be showcased in my Dewey video that I'm dropping tomorrow. And I have quite a few cliffhanger ideas, but I do think that it is going to end on a cliffhanger for sure.
Good, because you never know if it's gonna be Stu or not at the cliffhanger, but you're gonna know it is, and Sydney's gonna be surprised, like, oh no.
Right. Paul is saying Billy's motive and the looks on Sydney and Stu's faces, Gail getting punched, Gail flirty with Dewey, all of the Randy moments, Gail figuring out that Maureen's murder was connected to the new murders. Yeah, definitely, Paula. Definitely. See, and that's the beautiful thing about this movie, is that you can literally pinpoint some of the greatest moments without hesitation. I especially like that last part, Gail figuring out that Maureen's murder was connected to the new murders. Because in that same moment, you can even see Sydney questioning herself whether she believes that Cotton is really the killer of her mother or not. So definitely, I agree. Great list. I love it. Stella G saying, thanks, Marcus, for a great watch party. Have a great night, everyone. Fun hanging out and chatting with you all. Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for hanging out, Stella G. And I will plug this in, guys. I don't know if I actually posted it yet to YouTube. Like I said, I'm trying this new algorithm thing in regards to waiting to actually make posts. We'll make streams or videos public after a certain amount of time. Like I'm waiting 24 hours before I actually do it, because there's this thing where the YouTube algorithm, if I wait to release the video, if I wait 24 hours, it's supposed to help the video basically get as much views as possible, because it allows YouTube and the algorithm to know exactly what my niche is and what my video is supposed to be about. So if it's not posted yet, it will definitely be posted early tomorrow. But Saturday in the afternoon at 3:00 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to be having a live Halloween discussion talking about the upcoming Halloween TV series, talking about theories in regards to what we could see in the TV series, as well as what we could see in the next Halloween movie. So if you're not doing anything Saturday at 3 p.m., Stella, definitely come check me out, because I'll be streaming then as well, too.
When is that Halloween? Did they have a date for the Halloween TV
Not
series?
yet.
Not yet.
Okay. No. Paula's saying, can we watch Scream 2? When are you talking about tonight, Paula? Because I will say this, I will also plug this in as well. I just got to make the stream in a thumbnail and stuff. But next Thursday, as an extra added bonus for you guys hitting the super chat goal on Tuesday, which led to this stream tonight, because Scream 4 finished such a close second to this in the voting, I'm going to do a Scream 4 watch party next Thursday night. So, I mean, Paula, if you're talking about doing Scream 2 tonight, I wouldn't mind. You would just have to probably give me about another half hour to get ready, because I would have to charge up my phone and my computer so I can get the movie loaded up, and so I'm not dying of battery over here. So if you do want to watch Scream 2 tonight, all right, so guys, listen. If you guys want to watch Scream 2 tonight, if you guys want me to stream some more tonight, let me know in the chat, and let me know if you're okay with waiting for me for another half hour to 45 minutes. So basically, I'll say about 12:15 will be the latest that I'll stream Scream 2. Let me know if you guys are down for that. Paula saying, I wonder what Nev thinks of Matthew coming back. I think she loves it. I think she's okay with it. I'll put it this way. Think about it like this, Paula. She's an executive producer on Scream 7. I think if Nev didn't think that there was a story to tell between her and Stu Macher, between Sydney and Stu Macher, I don't think she would be on board as an executive producer with having his character have a big presence and a big role in this movie. You know, you got to think they've always maintained a friendship even after they've dated. You know, because remember, Matthew Lillard and Neve Campbell, when Scream 2 came out, they were dating. So I think that they still have a great friendship, a great working relationship. And I definitely do think that Neve is definitely on board with having Matthew back because she sees something there in regards to the Stu Macher story. Plus, she knows that that's what the fans want.
And they wouldn't announce her coming back either if they weren't cool.
Coop saying, yeah, you're right. I'm just caught up on how focused this movie seemingly is on Stu. So I'm more thinking of the fact that one of the killers is related to Stu. I definitely do believe that, Coop. I think it could be his sister, Leslie Macher. I do have a theory in regards to who this mental patient is going to be that's played by Ethan Embry. You know, could we be looking into much of the sister killer? Could it be a brother? You know, something of that nature. Definitely somebody related to Stu could be the killer in Scream 7 or will be the killer.
Well, they didn't announce his return, though. So Stu has to be involved in some way.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to have a big presence in the film. So, I mean, obviously, if his presence is supposed to loom large in Scream 7 and over that film, you would have to think that obviously he's going to have a key role. You know, something, it's going to be something connected to him. Paula saying thanks. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, Alex, I'm doing that next Thursday. See, I'm a few minutes behind, but yes, I just announced it. I'm going to have the stream up by the end of this weekend, but next Thursday night, I'll be back here again for Scream 4 live watch party. Like I said, that was neck and neck with this movie in regards to votes that you guys wanted to watch for a Scream movie. So as an extra added bonus for you guys showing up, showing the love and support, hitting the super chat goals, so on and so forth, I'm going to do a Scream 4 live watch party next Thursday night. And me personally, I am going to try to do it a little bit earlier. I kind of want to do it around 6, 7 o'clock Eastern time. So hopefully you guys all can make it. Yes.
That's good. A little early.
Patricia saying, is there a possibility you do a watch party of Five Nights at Freddy's? Scott and I just watching it now. Yeah, definitely. Especially leading into the second film. Yeah.
Yeah, a little. I haven't watched Five Nights at Freddy yet. I can't wait for it to come out. I'm not even sure if Matthew even started filming that one yet because of the Scream movie, but he could have already started for Five Nights at Freddy 2.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that one. I hope they get a little bit darker and get a little bit more violent in this next one. I liked the first one. I thought the first one was a nice setup to what we could get in part 2. I'm really hoping part 2 ramps it up, and I hope we get more of Freddy. You know what I mean? That's what I really hope. We get more seeing. I hope we see more of Freddy killing. Paul is saying thanks. And do you want to? Can quickly get another bowl of Cheerios and quietly. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to try my DVD. Yeah, I mean, listen, guys, real quick. If you want me to watch Scream 2 tonight, if you are okay with waiting for me to at least 12:15 to 12:30 Eastern time to start, to get everything charged up, to get everything loaded up and all that. If you guys want to watch Scream 2 tonight, I will come back on in the next 30 to 45 minutes and we will watch Scream 2 together. Let me know. Yeah, that's right. That's what I like to hear, Alex. He's my favorite too. Love it. Got another soldier to add to the Charlie army. I love it. Our army is only growing. Our army is only growing. Yes. Love it. Alex saying nice. Scream 4 is a great sequel. Charlie is my favorite. Yes. Absolutely, brother. I'm right there with you. Coop saying, and Anna comes in behind her, basically doing the usual monologue. Okay, so I must have missed something. Yeah, okay. Coop saying 100% will be having a feeling Anna Camp as Leslie. I agree with that. If you have seen the set pictures of a photo of Stu in the house, that could be how it is revealed. Sydney going into her house and seeing that photo of Stu. Yeah, I will say this, Coop, and I don't know if you saw this video from Craven Something Scary, but he was able to get some footage from the set of Scream 7. And if you look at one of the computer monitors, it looks like they were shooting a scene in the auditorium where the fairy princess play is supposed to be taking place. And if you look closely enough, it looks like someone in a Ghostface gown that has long blonde hair. So it definitely could be Anna Camp, maybe McKenna Grace. Definitely. You know, I would implore you, Coop, if you haven't seen that video, go check Craven's video out, because I personally think that that is a female who is going to be revealed as Ghostface, and whoever she is going to have blonde hair. And as we know, Anna Camp has blonde hair. So
Yeah, I wonder where Stu plays in. She wearing that mask.
Coop saying
Because
he filmed Five Nights at Freddy's 2 last year. He's in the first trailer for that. I'm about to say, I think, yeah, they did already get filming done for that. That's right. Yep. Yeah, so, and it should be released later on this year. That's right.
Okay. I wonder where Stu fits in it, if that's the. Oh my goodness, where's Stu?
That's right, Alex. He is underrated. Alex saying, I love Charlie. He's underrated. Yeah, absolutely. Again, you know, a lot of people give Charlie shit because he wasn't the way he killed didn't match up with his personality outside of the costume, so to speak. But that's why I do like Charlie, you know, because he wasn't this over aggressive, over excessive, whacked out, you know, type of character, like, you know, kind of like Stu, like Mickey, Roman to a degree, so on and so forth. He was literally the same guy that you've seen just walking about, like, as a killer, basically. And I thought that was unique. I thought it was different. He was still the same person he was, like, before getting revealed. And I think that that's okay. You don't always have to be this menacing, you know, ultra intimidating figure. Yes, I know for the most part that's what we like our killers to be, but sometimes it's good to step outside the norm a little bit. And I think Charlie was that stepping outside of the norm. You know, he was just a guy who wanted to be a part of something in so many ways, you know, and he basically did it in so many ways, you could say, out of love, you know, because he thought he got manipulated enough to think that Jill, by partaking in this, you know, killing spree with him, was basically the Bonnie to his Clyde. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I like Scream 4 because you didn't know that it was Charlie and Jill. And I was like, at the end, when you really like see it, I was like, what? Charlie and Jill? I was like, because Charlie was hanging out with his friend all the time, and how his friend didn't you know see it. So I was like, because Charlie
right.
acted very normal, you know, in that school, and then the other guy was recording and stuff like that. So I thought Scream 4 was very
Oh yeah,
done.
I loved it too because it was ahead of its time with the whole social media aspects, like you said,
Mm-hmm.
with the recording of the murders, live streaming the murders, so on and so
Yeah,
forth.
exactly. They were live streaming everything. So I was like,
And who was the brainchild behind that? Charlie Walker. He was ahead of his time. Basically, he predicted how things were going to be today. I mean, you got to give credit where credit is due. He's an awesome Ghostface. Like, he's a great planner, he's loyal, and he's a ferocious killer underneath the costume. To me, that's what matters, is what you do underneath the costume. you can be batshit crazy outside of the costume, but the way you kill and the way you're presented in a costume might not match up. You know what I mean? So I feel like Charlie is a perfect example of a character who is perfectly matched for himself. So again, guys, I'll give you guys about 2 minutes to let me know in the chat. Do you guys want me to go live again around 12:15, 12:30 to do a live watch of Scream 2? If not, we'll call it here, call it the night for right here, right now. And we'll pick back up on Saturday with the Halloween live stream. But if you guys want me to live stream Scream 2 and do a watch party of Scream 2 with you guys here on the late night, let me know and I'll make it happen.
They didn't say yet. They didn't say whether they wanted you to.
Hey, but Val, just like Stu was so whipped by Billy. Call a spade a spade. Stu was whipped by Billy. He was. And which is why they're similar in so many ways. So I mean, I get it. He gets, Charlie gets, ragged on for that. But it goes both ways, in my opinion. Charlie was just as whipped with Jill as Stu was with Billy. Also, to play into that, even though they scrapped it out of the movie, so it doesn't really count, and it's a good thing that they did scrap it out of the movie, there was supposed to be a scene in Scream 1996 where Billy sneaks up on Stu, and basically they're having a conversation to where Billy asks him, "Do you do that? Did you do that thing I asked you to do?" And he's like, "Oh, why do you always question me or whatever? I do anything for you," and stuff like that, which basically would have gave away that they were the killers, which is why it got scrapped out. But that's a prime example right there, the type of character that Stu was for Billy. He was his lapdog. Like Randy said, you're such a little lapdog. Stu was Billy's lapdog, and Charlie was Jill's lapdog. So they just about even. My boy's even. Thank you. Yes, I agree, man. Ooh, Alex, man. You're getting me back into that mode where I'm about to start doing some Charlie theories for why he could be in Scream 7 as alive, man. I talked about it with Scream 6. I talked about all the Easter eggs that pointed to Charlie Walker in Scream 5 and 6 in regards to him possibly being alive. I think it's possible. I mean, why not? Why not go for the gusto? Instead of bringing one dead killer that we think is dead anyway, one killer back that we assume to be dead, why not bring two of them? Let's raise the fucking bar. I'm all for it. I've always said I want Stu and Charlie to be partners. Even if Stu ends up turning his back and killing Charlie off, I still want that dynamic duo for most of the movie. Alex saying Jill is a bit overrated. I don't think her motive is overrated. I actually think it's quite clever, but in regards to her being like Ghostface, actually doing the murders and stuff like that, yeah, I can see where you would say that. But she was in her own right, she was a great mastermind too for her motive, because she was able to play Charlie. And her motive of, oh, I'm a killer, but I'm going to fake everybody to make it seem like I'm the new final girl. I'm the new Sidney Prescott. That's actually pretty cool. It is. It was a great motive. It's not about, what does she say to Sidney? It's not about killing you. It's about becoming you, or something like that.
Yeah, she did say that.
Yeah. You know what I mean? I think that that's a really good motive. But Charlie, in my opinion, in terms of getting down to the get down and actually being a great planner, I think he has her beat. But that's just my opinion. Oh, that's a good question. Okay, Paula saying my stream keeps messing up on my computer. I'm sorry to hear that, Paula. So Just let me know what you want me to do, Paula, and everybody else in the chat. If you guys want me to stream Scream 2 here shortly, I will do that. If not, we will call it a night. I know it is getting late. I'm just, throwing it out there because I know Paula said in the chat about watching it, and I'm willing to do it if you guys are. Who is the scariest female Ghostface? I'd have to say the scariest female Ghostface would be, I would say it would probably be Jill. I mean, in all honesty, because, you never would have expected it to be her. You know what I mean? Which shows her unpredictability. Now, as much as I love Mrs. Loomis, her motive is pretty cut and dry. She's out for revenge, for Billy, her son, which, in my opinion, makes her a little bit less scarier and more predictable of a killer. So I'd have to go with Jill in that regard. I like Amber, but I also think Amber was a little too tacky with it, with her performance, in regards to being a killer. Didn't really buy her that much. So I'm going to have to give the nod to Jill. To follow up on this, Patricia saying, I think Quinn is the most overrated female Ghostface of all time. I disagree with that because let's really be honest. We never really got to see her utilized that well. To me, she was the most intimidating Ghostface out of the family. I thought that she was the most believable Ghostface out of the Bailey family. Ethan was trash, and Bailey was too damn easy to point out. The whole fake tears and the, you fuck with my family, you die. Even though I already knew Quinn was a killer herself because of the dialogue at the beginning when she's talking to Tara about her brother dying and her dad moving to New York and stuff, I knew that she was talking about Richie. But when we got her revealed as Ghostface, she was fucking intimidating. And to me, she has one of the best shots in the entire franchise.
Yeah, that shot with her with the knife was pretty good.
That was fantastic. She spits the blood out and she holds the knife up.
Exactly. She just holds the knife up.
Smile, and you see the blood and all that.
Exactly. You just
that
see
is a really
on there.
In my opinion, she should have been the one to be the Ghostface leader out of the family. Maybe you would have just had it be her and Ethan. Maybe you would have had it be the same lineup, but have her be the driving force, because she loved her brother Richie so much and she's grief-stricken, so she wants that revenge. So she was able to pull her dad and her brother involved with her with this. I think that Quinn is actually very, very underutilized. I really wish we would have got more Quinn.
Yeah. I wonder how Carby actually survived.
Val saying no, the motive sucked ass. Sorry, I know it's my age, but the becoming Sydney so she can be internet famous. Just a huge no. Hey, honestly, I think this is the first person who said they didn't like that. I didn't know you felt that way about it, Val. That's interesting. I mean, I get it. Hey, it's not for everybody. You know what I mean? It's not. It is not for everybody. It's really not.
I wonder how Carby survived that stab. I guess he didn't stab her that bad.
Patricia, I'm saying, do you see any similarities between Stu and Amber? Not really, other than she's basically her parents bought his house. That's about it. I give her credit. She did work hard because if you think about it, you can make an argument that she did most of the work in Scream 5 as well. That she was Richie's lackey. That Richie really didn't do shit. So, and she did have one of the best introductions to Act 3. She did. You got to give her that. That shit was great. When she killed Liv off and turned around and said, welcome to Act 3, when points the gun, that was really good. I actually have an autographed picture of Mikey Madison from Scream 5 holding the gun during that scene, and I got her to sign that for me saying, welcome to Act 3.
I wonder how Kirby actually survived that Charlie knife. I guess he didn't stab her that bad. I bet he must have thought he killed her. Once you lay down there.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, with Charlie stabbing Kirby, yeah. Uh, I have my reservations. I mean, that's the thing. Like Scream 6, in my opinion, they confused with Kirby's character so much. Like, I just feel like you can make a better case that she was a secret ghost face than an actual, non-killer. That's just my opinion. Maybe if we get her back in Scream 7 or Scream 8, they clean that shit up, which I expect them to do so. But Scream 6 really, really made Kirby look more suspicious than what I ever would have imagined. Val saying no way Quinn was a nasty ghost face. At least she did her own killing while Jill had Charlie do most of the killings. I agree. Yeah. Val, I really wish Quinn would have been way more utilized. I think she would have been a fucking fantastic killer if they would have just had her be the leader, had her be in charge. Like, that was a missed opportunity. In my opinion, the ending and the killer reveal of Scream 6 would have been way better if Quinn was the main culprit, if she was the driving force behind the revenge narrative. Oh, that's awesome. Scott told me to tell you guys the Screamcasts are coming to Melbourne, Australia on October 30th. That's awesome. That's really cool. I'm going to have to look out on YouTube to see if anybody is going to be, having some footage from that panel. Val saying Quinn got a smackdown with a brick to the face and didn't go down. Come on, that's badass. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I agree, Val. So I'm saying, and of course, she has one of the most iconic still shots in the entire franchise. I don't care what anybody says. That shot of her spitting the blood out and then holding the knife up and just that, with the fucking gap. I think she had a gap in her tooth too. I have to go back and look at that photo, that shot. But it just looks fucking fantastic. And she looks sinister. She looks like a believable, capable, intimidating killer. Something that her dad and her brother, both brothers, if you really want to be honest, failed to accomplish.
But Ethan's death was pretty cool too, though. But yeah. Ethan definitely that was pretty cool. The way that not Sam, but Sam and Jen, her and Sam and
What was that, Janisha?
It was Sam and Jenna.
Sam and Tara.
Yeah, Sam and Tara. Yeah, Tara, the one that killed Ethan with that knife.
Yeah,
when it was going downward. I was like, that knife came through that man's mouth.
Right. Yeah, and I know a lot of people think he could be alive too and stuff because he did take Stu's TV to the face, but it didn't electrocute him or nothing, and he didn't get shot in the head. But let's really be honest, who the fuck really wants to see Ethan Landry come back? Like I don't. I know I don't. You know what I mean?
I know exactly the way that that knife scene was pretty cool though. The way I've never seen somebody get that knife in the mouth like that. I was
like I would put it this way: I would like Ethan a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. I would like him a lot more if it was confirmed that he was doing most of the killings and not his dad, because then it shows that he actually was a good Ghostface killer. But because we don't get that clarification, it just kind of mid,
Yeah, he did help Jasmine character when she got stabbed when Ghostface was in that train. He did help her because I guess he didn't want that to be on him to know until the end.
Yeah, maybe. Alex saying, I think the rumor that Kirby is coming back makes Charlie's survival seem more likely. Hey, it's possible, man. I mean, listen, when you take into account the whole AI angle and stuff, depending on how much they want to use it, I mean, I've always said that if Stu comes back, not saying that he wouldn't be up to date, you know, with the times and stuff, but he's old school, which was very evident in the opening scene of Scream 5 when talking to Tara. He's old school in regards to, oh, what's elevated horror? You know what I mean? Charlie, in my opinion, would know what elevated horror is because that was basically coming in, that genre of horror was basically being implemented around his time. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying is that Stu would have to have a partner who is up to date with the times or who has been ahead of the time, you know, for quite some time now. Like, they have been ahead of what society is going to look like many years in advance. And Charlie was that. You know what I mean? In Scream 4, he was that. Which is why I always wanted to see Charlie come back alive, working with Stu, and especially if we're going with this AI angle, Charlie is the mastermind behind sending the AI videos. Maybe we do get some more murders posted to the internet, stuff like that. So it's possible. Man, what I'm telling you right now, man, I already said it. I already said this, you know, on when I was modding and watching Sister Pam's stream, I want to say it was last week. If Charlie Walker returns in some shape, way, or form, even if it's AI, in Scream 7, after the movie, I'm doing a live stream and I'm drinking to that. I don't even drink like that. But I'm telling you right now, if he is present, if Roy Calkins' face is present in Scream 7, I'm coming on this channel, I'm whipping up a live stream, and I am fucking celebrating. I am.
Exactly. Oh God, I wonder he gonna go nuts in that theater if he sees Stu, Mocker, and Charlie.
All right,
those two together. I know you'll probably act a fool in that theater.
Oh my God! If it's revealed that they're both alive, and that they're behind the cult, that they're behind everything, and that they have been alive for quite some time, and that they linked the fuck up. Man, listen, man. Woo, woo. I'm telling you right now, all the other friends in the community in regards to content creators, you might not want me on your stream. You might not, because listen, I'm going to lose my shit, y'all. I'm telling you, I am going to lose my shit.
You gotta be happy. You gotta be
I'll be very happy.
You like, this is the best Scream movie ever.
All right, so I do see that Paula does want to watch Scream 2. So give me a few minutes, guys, to charge up, you know, the phone and the computer.
Yeah.
I will be back here. I didn't know if anybody else wanted to and stuff like that, but it seems like it's in demand for it. So give me a few minutes. I'll get the stream loaded up and we will watch Scream 2. But in the meantime, guys, hang tight. I'm going to get off of here right now. I'm going to catch you guys in a few short minutes. Thank you to everybody who stopped in and watched Scream 1996 tonight. This was definitely a blast. You know, this nice little side conversation was definitely a blast as well. And I'll catch you guys here shortly in the next stream. If you are catching the replay of this, hop on the movie, shoot the stream a like, hit the comment section and let me know what is your favorite moments from Scream 1996. All right, guys, I'm heading out of here. Denisha, I will see you backstage shortly, and I will see you all here shortly within a few short minutes for a late night live watch party of Scream 2. All right, guys, I'll see you here in a minute.
You are now watching I Shot Him 6 Times YouTube horror movie channel.
I shot him 6 times.